Well, well. Fancy seeing all y'all here. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream coming at you from the V1 HQ. Hope you are well. It's 2 days before Christmas. The Santas are out flying around. The reindeer are being refueled. It's an exciting time to be working for Barry Seal Logistics. Good to see everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful week. Welcome in. We got one more stream coming at you before we take a little bit of a break here. I just got back from a 3-day trip yesterday, 2 days ago actually, 2 days ago. So good to be here. Good to see y'all here. Hope you're ready for some fun. We've got some flying to do today. I mean, I've got some options. We have some options. Right out of the gate, you'll notice the elephant in the room. We have a PC12 in our hangar. I took the liberty of buying a PC12 because it's a PT6, okay? It's a PT6. Now, with that said, I've also been familiarizing myself with the PC12. I've also been doing some at-home grinding. Not even grinding. I just enjoy flying career mode. Been doing some career mode flying at home, and we're back up in the realm. We got 5.9 mil, so we're looking good. We're going to have some options later today. We'll discuss a fleet plan and everything for Barry Seal Charter, but yeah, this PC12 has grown on me quite a bit. It's not perfect by any means, but it's actually not that bad at all either. So I'm excited for this flight. We have a plan in cruise today. We got a long flight. We could do two things. We can either do green dot aviation real time or take the liberty of doing a little bit of time acceleration for one reason and one reason only, and that's because this airplane still can't go above flight level 180, which is going to cut down on our time because we can't get a faster task because we've got to stay low because it's bugged. So we could either fly low and real time it and green dot it, or we can fly hot, or we could just fly time excel and no green dot. But we'll talk about that later. So glad to see everybody here. Callie Simmer in the house. Good to see you. Just in your neck of the woods, man. Low vis. California did not disappoint. 16th of a mile, 3-hour delay on go home day. By the time I got it all said and done, I think we were about an hour and a half late. But Callie Simmer, good to see you. Al W in the house. Tyson's here. VA Beach Pilot Bo Browning. What's up, man? Good to see you. Harris, Captain McGee, Rastik. Good to see you, man. Fubar's in the house. Team Vodka's in the house. Al W. Good to see you, my man. Diabetic Lad. Jeremy Harvey, how you doing, my friend? Nicolim, Zippy Zapple, Virtual Flight Diaries, and many more. Welcome in, y'all. Glad to have you here. Hope you are excited for today's flight. Now, I have picked a route already. All these routes are right about the same. They're about 500-esque miles. So if you remember medium cargo in the Caravan was just an absolute grinder because you could only fly at 120 knots if you were lucky, and it just was yawing and it just wasn't that exciting. Now the PC12, especially with the old force feedback, is very, very exciting. Dougal, good to see you, man. Lurking with dinner. Excellent, man. Dougal, hope you enjoy this one. Good to see you, my friend. We are going to fire this up. We're going to do a little flight planning situation here first. So we're also going to be on Iveo Premium as well. This is the route that they've given us, and it's actually not a bad route. I may just keep it. Should we just keep the route? Let's just keep the route. What the heck? We'll keep the route. We'll go direct if we need to later on. We'll keep that route as planned. But what I need to do is file us on Iveo Premium. So let me file our flight plan here. And now there is something that you need to be very cognizant about when you are doing PC12 operations. Because you are not at a high altitude that you are supposed to be, you're going to burn significantly more fuel than planned. So I'm going to show you here real quick. Let me go ahead and get I don't remember my credentials for Iveo Premium. You gotta be kidding me. I ain't got time. Are you serious? I tell you what we'll do. We'll go like this. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. Long John Silvers. What's up? Good to see you, man. View flight plan. Password.txt. Oh my gosh. Prefile on a network. Why does it do this to me? Page expired. Oh my gosh. This is the most infuriating thing ever. Alright, I'm finally in. Alright, I got a file. November 357 Bravo Sierra. We're going to be going VFR. We're a type PC12. Weight category is light. Equipment, we're slant golf. We'll skip if FAA equipped, that's fine. Departure is SKPN. SKPN off block at Zulu time. We're going to do real time, real weather. It's 1904. Let's just call it 1915 at an altitude of 17,500 feet. At an airspeed, true airspeed is probably going to true out at about 260 knots. The arrival airport is Mike Romeo Sierra November, which is no one's really heard of that airport. We're going to plan a 3-hour block with a 3-hour and 45-minute fuel reserve. Route is going to be... I'm just going to put the... let's do this. I'm going to put in just a handful of them. AKSER, ICE WRAP, MUB, MI, STG, and OSEMA. That's what we'll do. We'll file that. Flight plan filed. Okay, done. Good. All right. Just ask FS Labs what my password is. I know. All right, so here's our flight plan. Now, we've got direct, that's fine. I got rid of Rodax and IRTA. Let's get rid of these two. Let's remove waypoint. Let's remove IRTA. There we go. So we got a little bit less. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to file this with ATC. We're going to cancel IFR anyway. That's fine. But what I want you all to pay special attention to here is when we go to management. Now, we've got a brand new airplane, nice and clean, ready to go. I washed it for you guys so we can start fresh together. Well, fuel and payload. So in this particular case here with the PC12, this is your, at flight level 290, estimated fuel burn. In this particular case, we're a little bit overfueled, so you would be like, oh, I could get a credit back. Problem is, you don't want to get a credit back right now because we need about 2,000 pounds for a comfortable flight at 550 miles at 17,500 feet. So if you're flying the PC-12 and you're going about 550 miles, 2,000 pounds is what you're getting. Now, I'm going to take a little bit extra. I'm going to go 20, well, let's stay right at 2,000 because I'm going to be firewalling the throttles as much as we can here at 17.5. So we are going to burn a significant amount of fuel more at this altitude. So make sure you do that. I'm going to refuel. We're going to pay 4,000 creds. We're good to go. So our fueling is done. We're not going to worry about insurance or maintenance. It's brand new. 553 miles. We've got 1492 on the pounds. Let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. All right. When I fly, it doesn't have sound. That's weird. I have not had that bug. Now, what I love about the PC-12 in career mode is it's allowing us to go to the same great airports that the Caravan was going to go to. So some of these airports are absolutely wild. There she is, chat, our PC-12. Your full fuel. What are you taking, Team Vodka, for aircraft? I'm going to go ahead and connect 357 Bravo Sierra, and we are type PC-12, Pilatus PC-12. Are we a Spectra Eagle? No, we're just a flat PC-12. We'll go ahead and connect. Oh, I see I see Team Vodka as a E190, so I'm going to go ahead and disconnect for now until we get airborne. Then I will connect. All right. So here's our bird. Should we do our first ever pre-flight together? Let's go ahead and check this out. I love this model. Now, Carenado is known for great engine models, no doubt, or engine models for great exterior models. Now, one thing I can't figure out is where the heck is the oil dipstick, and can you even pull the dipstick out? I don't know. A couple circuit breakers up there. I was looking for the dipstick, and unless it's in there somewhere, I'm trying to hack the camera view. I'm not quite sure, but we'll go ahead and leave that up for now. We'll do a little pre-flight. We'll go ahead and pull the chocks. Check our leading edge here. Yeah, we got to get the GA models. I can't get it to like. I don't have any default. I don't know how to change the default code. The only dipstick is one of the pink shirt. Very funny. Do not push. We got our ailerons here. You can hear that? Oh, that's awesome. Now, can we open this aft cargo here real quick? Press here. I don't know if we can open the cargo door. I think she's already loaded up. Pull to open, huh? I don't know what I just clicked there. Alright, I guess we can't open it, but there she is. The PT6 does not have a dipstick. Oh, it's an indicator. Oh, yeah, like the little window. You're right. Duh. What am I thinking? It's like a little window we got to look at. Here's one of our static ports right here. Static pressure, keep clear. It looks like it's got a little bit of paint on it. I love it, though. I can hear quite the wildlife out here. Man, I love this sim. So I was doing a little walk around yesterday, and I was just walking around the airplane like this. I was just messing around in Preflight mode, and all of a sudden this big boom went off, and it was a thunderstorm at the end of the runway. It was crazy. I turned around, a big old dark cloud, lightning and thunder. All right, she looks good to go, Chad. I think we are ready for our first ever PC12 flight together. Oh, it closed it for me. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Merry Christmas, Janami. Good to see you on.
Captain. Happy to work with you today. I'm your co-pilot, and my name's Wanzabala.
All right, Wanzabala. Now, this cockpit is actually very nicely done. Look at the glass. Look at the textures on this juice right here. Whoo, yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get this puppy fired up. What we're going to do, we're going to go battery 1, battery 2. Gen 2 is going to stay on. We'll go standby, avionics, bus 1. We'll go nav and beacon. And while we wait, we got to let our screens boot up here before we hit the start switch because we want to monitor our engine instruments for engine start. The oil window on the first side we looked into. Okay, it is in there. Is it actually, is it modeled? I'll be curious if it's actually modeled in this airplane. Rubs, good to see you, man. How you doing, dude? Watched American Made again. Thanks to you. Hey, my man. It's a great movie, isn't it? I'm probably going to watch it again tonight, dude. Well, there's football on tonight. Maybe later. All right, let's go ahead and fire this sucker up. So we got nav, beacon on. We're going to go fuel tank pumps on. We're going to go start to run, ignition on, and click it. Now, inside startup sound, not good. Outside startup sound, passable.
Our sensitive cargo containers are built to handle turbulence, but maintain a constant flight speed. Let's keep our delivery on time and safe.
Oh, we'll keep it on time and safe. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. All right, I'm going to, while we spin up here, I'm going to put a poll in chat. You guys are going to help me determine if we're going to go real time this whole flight and watch green dot, or if we're going to do a little bit of a time excel. See, the sounds are actually pretty good. In some phases, the beta transition is one of my favorite sounds. All right, sounds like we got a good start. Let's go fuel tank pumps auto, ignition auto. We'll go avionics 2 bus, generator 1 on. No smoking, that's coming on. EPS will arm you. That's on for now. We're going to do Magic Barrel Ref. Now, for real time, I'm going to set... I have a binding now, so it's 16070. It's actually... It's 1912Z, so we're real time, real weather now. So the way you bind that is you have to bind set Zulu time in your keyboard commands, and now we've just synced up with real time and real weather with our flight. Now it's good that it's not nighttime because the airport we're going to is not necessarily lit up, if you know what I mean. All right, let me get this poll going here before we get too far off here. All right, so you guys have fun with the poll. What's up, Alexandra Bellini? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's do a Magic Barrel Ref update. A couple other things we need to do here. So with the PC12, you're going to have to manually resync this. So we're going to send route to avionics. Now with our route sent to avionics, we're going to activate this. That looks beautiful. Destination MRSN. That all looks good. Flight plan name, we're not going to save it. So there we go. We're going to go ahead and set flaps to 15. Come out here. The flap model is actually pretty good too when you notice that. All right, flaps are 15 for trim. I like to be just a hair There we go. I like to be right about there. About as nose up as I can be with the in the green. If you go outside of the green, it'll turn red on you. But for these short strips, the PC12, I've noted that that's kind of where I like to be at. All right, so that's set. Let's bring up our checklist system here, which is pretty nifty. We'll go normal checklist. Before starting engine, we kind of did all this. Nav, beacon, CAS, engine master, starter, oil pressure, generator. We're ready. Checklist complete. So let's go before takeoff. Flaps are set. Flight controls are free and correct. Inert SEP, we'll get that here. Inert SEP is on. Landing lights, strobe. We'll be ready for takeoff. So that is set. Let's go ahead and announce our taxi out, and we'll be ready to go.
Sierra Kilo Papa November traffic Gringo Bravo. Sierra Lima Fife 211 is taxiing to runway 06.
We're going to set a top altitude of 17,500 feet. Now, also, another crucial thing about the PC12, when you taxi this, you want to bind, I believe it's throttle decrease, so you can toggle going into beta. So if I press a button, I can now use the ground idle beta function, which is what you need. Listen to this. Listen to this. Wasn't as good from the outside, but from the inside, it's actually pretty good. I never turned the taxi light on. We're gonna get dinged. Sippy, what's up, man? Just got the SimFX add-on for the Fenix from Parallel 42, and it's so good. Man, I'll have to check it out. Only if it's for 24, and maybe. All right, let's go ahead and announce our takeoff.
Sierra Kilo Papa November traffic Gringo Bravo. Sierra Lima Fife 211 taking off runway
In your
06
vPilot settings,
to the
model
west.
matching, change default model to this. Generic piston, single engine, Azobo 00. Do I just type that in there? Do I just type that in there? Because it says, okay, I understand. Let me type it. Generic. Hold on. Generic piston, single engine, Azobo 00. Apply. Was not found. It says was not found. Generic piston, single engine, Azobo 00 not found. Did I spell it right? Generic. Yeah. Yeah, not found. It might not work for 24. No worries. All right, we're going to get our pulse recog lights on, wing and strobes on as we enter the runway. Dead to me. Well, I'll connect here right as I'm leaving the ramp. I just didn't want to connect because I have the default as an E190. Oh, jeez. Are you taking off? Let's change our radios. Comm 122.8. E190 blasting off. Let's go nav 122.8. No. 122.8. Enter. Alright, comm 1. Swap it over. 22.8 is set. Alright, traffic is clear. Bradley, yeah, I use 17.5. I use 17.5. Alright, so enter runway 6. Alexandra Bellini. Oh my goodness me. Dropping a 300 hey ice. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, my friend. Thanks for the entertainment and the moments of joy. I wish nothing but peace and happiness for the family. And send my best to the wife and kids. Alexandra Bellini, thank you so much for that. Absolutely awesome super chat. Really appreciate the love. know you've been around the channel a long time, and I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. I'll pass along the message. That's very, very kind. Thank you so much. Doesn't that sound good? Why is the altitude limited to 190? I'm going 17.5 because the pressurization system is bugged. My favorite Xbox gaming channel on YouTube, hands down. Hey, good deal, Turk. Thanks again, Alexander Bellini. That's really awesome. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Cheers. Cheers with my my tea. So we got to flip it around and blast off runway 6. Let it accelerate, let it accelerate. A little bit of beta. Listen to that. Come on. You can't tell me that doesn't sound nice. Woohoo! I love it, man. I love it. And this airplane, so the PC12, it actually flies pretty good, too. This is going to sound really crazy. It's going to be a super hot take. I actually enjoy the flight model of the PC12 in 2024 from Carenado and Azobo more than the SWS PC12. What do you think about the PC12 in 24? I have a couple in the hours in the NGX. I'm a bit disappointed. Oh my gosh, somebody just flew over. That's awesome. Doing a flyby right on the tops of the trees. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll do a U-turn here and blast off runway 6. Sierra Kilo Papa November traffic. Pilatus 357 Bravo Sierra departing runway 6 to the northeast. He Air Franced it. Yeah, he did. Thing taxis like a dime too, which is, you're gonna need it. So one of the best parts about this airplane is it being able to taxi so well, because the strips that you come into, you're gonna need it. So now we're gonna do a little bit of reverse action here. So let's go ahead and back us up a little bit. Now it's very important that when you're doing a little reverse back up here, that you don't hit the brakes. You will stand it on the tail, and you will wreck your airplane. We're going to need all available runway. Just a little more. Oh, that's too much. Ah! All right. Woo! All right. Sierra Kilo Papa November traffic. DBM or correction. Pilatus 7 Bravo Sierra departing runway 6. Is that E190 on frequency? I just wondering if you hear.
The TVM, yeah.
All right. Good deal. I wish I could see the TVM. All right.
Dude, I'm having so much fun on this thing.
All right. Let's go ahead. So. Trims are set. Remember, as max as we can. Trims are set. We are ready for takeoff. Landing lights and strobe checklist complete. That leaves us with after takeoff. Let's go ahead and get our pumps on. Ignition manual on. Hold on to your butts. It's about to get wild. This strip is actually looking a little bit shorter than I liked, now that I'm looking at the end of the runway. I've never taken off from here in the PC12. I'm actually having second thoughts about this. This is an expensive airplane to wreck into the trees. Hold the brakes, run it up, run it up. Godspeed, friends. Brakes released. Come on, baby, we got this. Now, it'll call V1 rotate at about 85, but you can short field it at about 70 if you need it. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay.
V1, rotate.
Oh, she's heavy. Positive rate, gear up. Oh yeah, baby. Like a glove. Like a glove. Oh, geez. Get that ITT back right away. All right, we're going to make a left turn out. Look at that ITT. So in the NG here, let's go flaps up. Let's fly the airplane. In the NG, your prop and everything is all automatic. It's pretty crazy. 140 is your climb out speed, is your best climb out speed. So we'll kind of pitch for 140. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to play the game with the default ATC, and then we're going to cancel. All IFR clearance.
Sierra Lima 5211 is type Pilatus PC 12 2 miles.
All right, we're through 1,000 feet. We're accelerating. We'll go auto.
500 feet. Request flight following.
Gringo Bravo Sierra Lima 5211 Bogota Center. Squawk tree 2.
Squawk tree 2.
Look at that.
Bravo, Sierra Lima 5211.
Oh, this is so much fun. All right. Just getting a good climb rate right now.
Sierra Lima 5211 radar contact 2 miles north of Sierra Kilo Papa November 2,500 feet.
Let's go direct ISAP.
015.
Direct ISAP, nav. Give me a flight level change at 140. And activate the direct 2. So we're nav, flight level change. Acknowledge radar contact, and then we're gonna cancel everything.
Bravo Sierra Lima 5211.
All right. So now that we've acknowledged, let's go ahead and cancel IFR. Oh no. Oh, I hit the wrong button.
Bogota Center, Gringo Bravo,
Son of a
Sierra
gun.
Lima 5211,
All right.
3 miles northwest
We're gonna play
of
the game
Sierra
here for a few
Kilo
more
Papa
minutes.
November, 3,800 foot. Request IFR to Mike Romeo, Sierra November, ready to copy.
Gringo Bravo Sierra Lima 5211 is cleared to Mike Romeo. Sierra November Airport is filed. Squawk tree 2.
Gringo Bravo Sierra Lima 5211 cleared to Mike Romeo, Sierra November Airport as filed. Squawk tree 2.
We don't need. Yeah, it has synthetic vision. I'll show you everything I know about the airplane here once we get once we get rid of this song and dance with the ATC.
1015. Continue to Axer. Following heading 295, resume own navigation climb and maintain FL tree 00.
Okay, copy that, and then we're going to cancel, and we can stop playing this
Continue
game.
to Axer. Following heading 295, resume own navigation climb and maintain FL tree 00 Gringo Bravo Sierra Lima 5211.
All right, so now we'll cancel IFR.
Bogota Center, Gringo Bravo Sierra Lima 5211. Cancel IFR at this time.
Migs, my man, thank you for the 13 Canadian. Merry Christmas, Barry, and thanks for the snow, Gringo. Hey, Migs. Cheers, my friend. Thank you so much for the support, dude. Appreciate that $14 super chat, man. Merry Christmas to you and yours, man.
Frequency change approved. Good day.
All right, frequency change is approved. We can go ahead and get rid of the mission steps now. We're also going to do a Magic Barrel Ref update. We're going to go back to 122.8. So, I don't have that bound down there. Huh, that's not good to have that binding not done. We need to go 122.8. Enter that in the standby. We'll flip it over. 22.8 is active now. All right, so we're back on Unicom. We'll go ahead and clear that squawk code out here in a minute. I'm just kind of enjoying the hand flying. I guess I'll turn the sim down just a hair. Look at the texturing. I mean, this is actually one of Carenado's better airplanes. I can 100% attest to that. I might have to tweak my pitch just a little bit on my Brunner setup here, but because it almost feels like, let's see here. Nah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, now what's also really nice about the PC12 NGX is we have auto throttle. Now the problem, not really a problem. Oh, inert SEP. I was going to say, if you leave your inert SEP on, the auto throttle has a hard time keeping it under temp. So with everything set up now, let's go ahead and activate the auto throttle. Let's go ahead and activate the autopilot. Now it's going to juice us up to the maximum power that it can do here. MCP, max continuous power, without over temping. There's 10K. Let's fly the airplane. We'll go wing, taxi, landing, pulse recog. We'll get those all off. That looks good. Overhead is set. And we're climbing all the way up to 17.5. Compare fuel quantities. So what we need to do is I'm actually going to rebind. I need to bind this to like this view. So I can see down here. So we're going to set, which view is that? Dang it, I forget. So overhead, this one, and this one. So this one we want to expand upon a little bit. So we can see that comm panel down there. All right, good. All right, binding is set. Thrust set, good to see you, my man. Man, the only thing I cannot stand 24 right now is the UI to choose a plane model livery, but career mode is actually fun. Pilot Sep, dude, I am absolutely in love with career mode, man. It has been so much fun. What happened to our tail? Why do we got a white paint job on our... Maybe that's our dynamic registration issue. We've painted it. Proper Barry Seal operation. We've painted over it. K6, greetings from downtown Houston. My man, good to see you, K6. So I reserved a small SUV and they gave me an F-150. Very Texas. Nice, dude. Very nice. Welcome to the great state of Texas, my man. Hope you enjoy your time down there in nasty Houston. I just had some good time out there on your side of the world, out there in the West Coast. I was downtown San Jose, man, and it was actually a lot of fun. They had a winter wonderland party. Had all these vendors and stuff set up. It was pretty cool. Thrust set, I saw that. So I've actually been toying with it on a beta version, not publicly, to see if it, and I had some issues. I have not tried the latest version. I'm hoping they at least, it sounds like they squashed some of the issues that I was having. So yeah, we're going to have to check out that 7.2 for sure, man. Harish. Wow, I feel like the airplane's really loud. Let me turn it down a little bit. Put our ANRs on. Harish, my man, good to see you, dude. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to you, the family, and everyone here. Thanks a bunch for another great year full of the best flight sim stuff on YouTube. Harish, thank you so much, man, for the 27 Canadian, dude. Appreciate all the love and support, my man. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. And here's to another year, man. Thank you so much for the support, Harish. Really, really kind. Yeah, Christmas in the park. Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was really cool. I got some cool shots. If you're a commercial member, you probably saw the shorts video. All right, so let's take a look at our flight plan. Now, we are crossing some serious terrain, so I'm going to go ahead and put terrain, SA terrain on, and it looks like we're going to be above it here at 17.5. So we'll go ahead and turn SA off. But this is really, really good to use that situational terrain like we were using in the Vision Jet. A couple other things here that I like. Let's go ahead and turn on the NexRad. Looks like we're not really going through any storms on this particular route of flight, which is good. But we'll keep the NexRad up and good to go. We'll put the TCAS on. I don't see any other aircraft on TCAS right now, which is interesting. I wonder where that other... Oh, there is that another aircraft right there? I can't tell. No, maybe not. All right, but we just leveled 17.5. That's about as high as we can go. Since we've leveled at 17.5, I'm going to manually select the speed, and we're going to keep it in indicated airspeed here. So we're going to click this in here. We're going to do 224. We're going to see what our speed tape gives us. We're going to see how much. We're going to run it as full forward as we can. You could see right now, I'm really starting to like this system, this avionics setup. It's so much information. It's almost like information overload. So you have to, I mean, I've done a handful of flights in this airplane now. We'll turn the oxygen lever on. It doesn't do anything. But learning where everything is a little bit of a learning curve. Understanding your fuel flow and your burns and everything is a big deal, especially since we're limited to about 17.5. So at 17.5 at full power, we're going to be right about that 440 pounds per hour. So that's going to give us, at 2,000 pounds of gas, that's going to give us about 4 hours, a little extra endurance time. These flights at 550 miles are typically going to be around that 3-hour mark. So just kind of depends on the wind and everything. Right now we got a 10-knot tailwind, which is great. He's right on my tail. I don't see him yet. I'm sure I'll hear him before I see him. All right, so with auto throttle on, which is awesome for career mode here, and you can go up and do something. If it can't give you any more juice, it's basically going to be AT lim, which we're pretty much at our limited speed right now. Our ground speed is about 276. It's actually pretty good. So you go, there's our auto throttle lim. That's all she's got. Can't get any more juice out of it. Now, what makes this airplane really good in real life is the ability to get this sucker up at, you know, 29, 30,000 feet and rip it. We can't do that because the pressurization is bugged out. And you can see here, cabin altitude, delta P, cabin rate. It's all dashed out. I cannot get this to work. It doesn't. I can't really get cockpit temp to work either. So there's some type of. We should have the probe heats on as well. And we should be on light for the windows. Probe heats on, inert SEP closed. I'm trying to get everything set up here. We'll hide this yoke for a minute. But yeah, the bleed air, it doesn't do anything if you inhibit it or auto. Can't really mess with any of these. Dump. I wonder, is this not stuck in dump, is it? No. I'm sure no one's figured it out by now. It's straight up bugged. So we cannot get our cabin to pressurize, which means if we go up to flight level 290, it'll say you're gonna run out of oxygen soon, or you're gonna have hypoxia, and then it's gonna end your mission. It's gonna fail your mission. So we got to stay at 17.5. Let's go through our after landings. Gears up, yaw damper, inert SEP, flaps up, landing taxi light off. Checklist is complete. So we got a before landing checklist set up to go. And we're looking good. Frozen cabin and no air pressure. There goes customer satisfaction. Well, the good thing is we don't have any customers on this one, thrust set. We don't have any customers. Bomb Tech, you're at 290 right now? Yeah, but it's going to... you're going to run out of oxygen, dude. You can go up to 29, which is fine, but you're going to run out of oxygen. So, and then you're going to have to descend down. Hold on, I got some notification on YouTube. All right. But yeah, so we have a couple options. We have a couple things we need to plan out too. So, as far as our company is concerned, instead of getting the PC12 or getting the CJ4, since there's not a lot of missions, I was thinking about getting the King Air C90 for the Barry Seal Charter. And with Barry Seal Charter, we could run the C90 and kind of have a little mix. Maybe we can station it in Mexico City. So we've got our South America ops linking to the Central America. And then we can funnel clientele from Mexico City on the C90 up to California where our Vision Jet is. We have options. We have options. Migs, thank you so much for the 7 Canadian, man. Appreciate you. Initial thoughts on the I-9 350 release trailer. I'm hyped, and I also might not leave the house until 2026. Migs, thanks again for that 7 Canadian, dude. Initial thoughts on the 350 release trailer. Dude, it looks awesome. I'm very, very excited. And the thing with the 350 that I really... that I have a lot of hope for is it's a standalone product, right? So the I&I builds 300, the premium version that I haven't really had any issues with it. And their premium version of their airplanes seems like it's much better. So I'm really crossing my fingers and hoping for that 350 to be just as good. And by the looks of it, it looks great. So I'm excited, but I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't more excited for the L1011. Hopefully that's standalone. Bomb Tech, you will fail the mission. I promise you, dude. I promise you. It'll say you are at risk of running out of oxygen. And then at one point, it'll just come up and say you've risked it running out of oxygen. Mission failed. I promise you'll fail. It's happened to me 3 times. It's not instant. It takes a while. Because what happens is, once you get above 18,000, it starts siphoning the oxygen from the aircraft, the oxygen bottle, and then there's a certain amount of time for the oxygen depletion. And then that's when you run out, Turkatari, when you run out oxygen depletion. Now, what is also, you could tell that it's definitely bugged, is if I look here on my mask, I have 0 oxygen even on my mask. So, I can't click over here. I have the oxygen on. This should be up in the green, but it's not. So, that's unfortunate. But, yeah. It's like 1 to 2 minutes after the warning before you fail. Some people can get up to 200. Apparently, I can get to 190. I've been at 17.5 and not had any issues at all at 17.5. Andy B. Yes, that's what happened. They all got hypoxic. Very similar. Very similar. Top load. Check out the specs right there, right above your message. Right above your message. All right. What does the poll say? Poll says green dot IFE. Excellent. All right. Well, we will do some green dot IFE. Let's go ahead and get through this little mountain area here. And I'll tell you what, for sim purposes, let's go direct Mumbai. Maybe that'll straighten the line through there. So I'm going to select Mumbai. We're going to go direct to activate, direct Mumbai. That'll keep us a little bit left of some of that buildup out there as we cross over this mountain chain. Make biofuel out of the sponges. But yeah, I wish, see, if we could get up to 29, 30,000 feet, you'd be so much faster. It'd be awesome. It's just, unfortunately, we can't do it. I like to put speed distance time on here. Speed distance time, runway 21. So, hour 48. No, that can't be right. It's got to be all these combined, right? Is that all of them combined? No way. I need to just go direct. Let's go direct STG. Go direct STG again. Hour 13. Okay, so really it's only hour 47 until destination. Okay, because it's not an hour 27 after STG. I see. So we got about an hour 40 en route. About an hour 40 en route. Joe's, what do we got here? Hold on, I'm setting this up here, man. I'm trying to find a good cockpit angle here. That's kind of cool. Joe's DSC, my man, thank you so much for a $50 super chat. Very, very kind of you, Joe. Says, thanks for another great year of Flight Sim. Merry Christmas to you and the family. Joe SDC, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate all the support. The massive $50 super chat. Cheers right back at you, man. Thank you so much, dude. Glad you're enjoying the content. I'm excited for next year. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. 2024 is going to be an epic year of Flight Sim. No doubt. No doubt. Bombtech, you just crashed? I told you, man. Yeah, I don't know who this FO is. She's kind of creepy. She's just watching, making sure the product gets from A to B. Told you, Bombtech. You didn't want to listen to me, my man. You think I'm lying to you? Surprised by the stream? I'm 43 minutes late. First thing I see is you asking if you can time excel. Inadequate. The only reason I thought about time excel, because I really don't like time excel. I think if you're going to time excel through missions, there's no point in doing career mode. Just fly free flight. Like, the whole point of career mode is investing the time. Because once you invest your time, you're vested in the outcome of the flight. You're vested in the progress of your company. You're vested in the credits that you're getting. So if you're just going to time excel through everything, there's really no point, in my opinion. You're just watering down the joys of career mode. Now, where I think career mode can be a little bit accepted is in a case like the PC12, where we have this legitimate bug. We cannot get the airplane up to its cruising altitudes to take advantage of the speeds that it can do and make the flights a little bit more a little bit shorter. You know, they'd probably be closer to an hour, hour 10, hour 15 if you were taking this sucker up there, getting in the jet stream and ripping. So that's the only time then that's why I suggested it, is because, well, you know, we could do that if you wanted to. My personal opinion is no, I would like to not do that. That's my personal opinion. But I'm a man of the people, so I put it up for a vote. Blackbird Controls. Blackbird with the $5 super chat. Howdy, V1. Been hard at work and got a big surprise for everyone today. Woo! Merry Christmas, happy holidays for you and the whole V1 Nation. You got a big surprise for everyone today? Well, what's the big surprise, my man? Blackbird Controls. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Tell your family, tell your girl Merry Christmas from V1 Nation as well, man. And I hope you have a good rest of the year. Finish out the year strong. We got, what, 7-8 days left? I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store for us. Blackbird Controls, man. Thank you for all the support, dude. And again, if you guys want some Blackbird control levers, you got to get them. I think he's got a Christmas sale on right now. I think there's a Christmas sale on right now. So make sure you check out the website, check out the Discord. I vouch wholeheartedly for Blackbird Controls Bravo Throttle mods. So you will not be disappointed. I promise you. Whoa. Whoa. There we go. That's the... Oh my gosh. Dropped 2. Okay, hold on. Let me get through this here. I can't all of my thing got all jacked up. Alexandra Bellini, the 20 gifted memberships. Thank you so much for the 20 gifted subs. Unbelievable. Really appreciate the support, Alexandra Bellini, at the top of your super chat. Very, very kind. If y'all pick up a membership from Alexandra Bellini, make sure you shout him out and say thank you for all the support and sharing the love at V1 Nation this evening. Sharing the love. Thank you. And Blackbird Controls, there it is. The 20 gifted memberships as well. Dropping them like it's hot. Thank you, Blackbird Controls. Very, very kind. Really appreciate it, man. Hey, I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, man, appreciate all the support. Thank you for the 20 gifted membership, Bob. Merry Christmas to all from Blackbird Controls and Alexandra Bellini. Christmas sale ended early, so I can release the 777 throttles today. Whoa! Do you have any picks? Do we have any picks yet? 777 throttles for the Honeycomb Bravo? You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Blackbird, awesome, man. If there's any picks you want me to show, let me know. I'll pull them up. I can show them on stream. I wasn't even watching the stream, and I got a gifted sub. Doug Dog. That's how we do it here at V1 Nation, my man. We're sharing the love, dude. Blackbird, do it, my man. I'll post it up. Rastik dropping 20 gifted as well. Rastik, so kind, man. Thank you so much for another 20 bomb in the house. Christmas season is upon us. You guys are awesome. Thank you all for the support. Fantastic. My passengers are drunk. Restique, are you in New Orleans? I always confuse you and Bo Browning. I think Bo's in New Orleans. A Gift-a-Palooza stream. Let me see if I have any secret sauce from Blackbird. In the oh, you're from Europe, Slovenia. Ah, I just came from Portland to Paris. Very cool, Restique. Well, hey, Restique, thank you so much for the support, Restique. A long way from home. But yeah, Blackbird, if you end up getting some picks, you let me know. It'll be a first ever. Jeremy, which green dot are we watching? Jeremy, good to see you, man. Hey, Jeremy, I'll be praying for your mom, dude. Just read your text, dude. My prayers are with you, bro. It's a very tough time. The green dot we are going to watch is going to be a relatively new one. It's Falling Through the Sky, Caribbean Airlines Flight 708. I do not know about this one at all. I don't believe I've watched it yet. He released it a week or so ago. It's an MD-80. And I don't know, I just saw something about the Caribbean Airways and the MD-80. I'm like, you know what? Let's do an MD-80. Let's do an MD-80 green dot. And we're gonna tackle that here in just another minute or so. I was kind of wanted to get over these mountains here and be smooth sailing. Then we'll invest ourselves into a nice little movie and cruise here. Look at those clouds. That looks amazing, does it not? Migs, thank you for another super chat. Migs, appreciate you. Just between you and me, had a problem with the cabin pressure in the Fenix. 321, leveled off at 10K, trying to figure it out, only to see the FO window still open. Merry effing Christmas. Oh, Migs. Well, I guess it wasn't, I guess it's not really between you and me anymore. It's between you, me, and 350 other people. So, definitely a skill issue there, but pretty cool to see that modeled, right? Thanks again, Migs. Hope you got it figured out. Did you exceed the, you probably exceeded the window speed, I'm assuming. How are you loving the PC12 Benny? I'm liking it. It's, the sounds need a little bit more bass, but a lot of the sound set is good. Like the transition to beta, the flight, like, the only sounds that I don't like on it are the engine start sounds and the cruise sounds. Like up at cruise, it sounds a little sewing machine-ish. But taxiing it on the ground, it sounds pretty good. On approach, on takeoff, it sounds good. It hand flies really well. I like the flight model of this airplane better than the SimWorks PC12 in 2020. I'm liking the avionics. There's a learning curve to these avionics. I still don't know everything. Maybe you guys know how to fix this too. So I have this message here. Message, and it says FMS compare fuel quantity. I don't know how to clear that or what to do. I don't know what to do about that. Maybe you guys know how I can clear that amber message light. But I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying it. VFD 20 $1 super chat. VFD, Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays. V1 and the family, awesome channel. Learned a lot from you. I really appreciate it. Virtual Flight Diaries, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate the support. Very kind of you. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. And hey, we like to have a lot of fun on this channel, but it's always good when we learn a little bit, right? Too little edutainment. Little edutainment. And a 5 gifted membership from VFD as well. Thank you, VFD. Really appreciate you, man. Very, very kind, VFD. Oh, look at that view right there. Ooh, oh, juice. Did somebody say juice is loose? Thanks again, VFD. And JJ Stevens with a $5 super chat. My man, appreciate you. Man, you guys are just full of love and support, full of the Christmas spirit. Have you ever tried American honey whiskey from Wild Turkey? I sure have. It's funny. The only reason I have, and I just did it recently, is because of father-in-law. So, my first experience with it, yeah, it's pretty good, man. Pretty dang good. Thank you, JJ, for a $5 super chat, man. Appreciate you, dude. Eastern T3, my man. 20-pound super chat. Merry Christmas, V1 and everyone. Here's to an epic 2025 of Flight Sim and all-around happiness. Hey, very kind Eastern T3. Thank you for the 20-pound super chat, man. I love this song, but I can't do lyrics when I'm talking. Here's to a 2025. Right back at you, Eastern T3. Wish I had some American honey whiskey here. I'll cheers you. Appreciate you. How was my latest work trip? It was great until day 3. Man, we did a lot of... it was 3 days, and it was a packed trip. So thank you for those who did the little fly-along, too. We did a little fly-along challenge. Transcon, 6 hours. 6 hours, 6-minute block or something, y'all. Newark to Los Angeles. I did a landing challenge with Silky Smooth and Zippy. I beat both of them, luckily. Else I was gonna have to give them $20. But now we're gonna roll the pod over to $40. So I think we're gonna keep doing this. It's gonna be a little landing challenge. We'll do a fly along. I'll pick a select flight, and if anyone wants to fly along, I'll print my landing rate. And if you beat me in the real airplane, then you win the pot. And if nobody wins, we'll just keep rolling the pot, $20 each time. So right now the pot's at $40. But yeah, I did a long haul transcon. I dealt with 16th mile visibility, holding, no go arounds, thankfully. I did an FLS approach. I did the FLS into San Diego, which I learned a lot on that actually, because I remembered. So even though the aircraft was SLS equipped for RNPAR, that approach, we can't do it because it's only an LP minima. It's not an LPV. So if it's an LP minimum only, you can't use SLS. You have to degrade the aircraft manually in the box to force it into FLS mode to do the RNAV. But yeah, we were doing RNAVs to minimum into San Diego. What else we do? We did a freaking like 700 RVR taxi across LAX. They crossed the entire airport at night. That was pretty wild. FO was an absolute rock star. He was really, 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 really good. He did a great job staying ahead of the game. The flight attendants were fantastic on day 3. We had 3 legs that were delayed. As a matter of fact, I got to recommend 2 of them for like a award thing, because they were above and beyond. The whole crew. It was one of those trips where if you had the wrong crew, you were going to be miserable. But we had the right crew, and it was a really, really good trip. So, because of the crew only. Because the trip on paper did not end up that well. Like I said, we started 3 hours late on the go home day and trying to play catch up, delays. But got some more juice here in the chat. What do we got? We got Blackbird with another $5 super chat. My man, pick of the 777 throttles releasing today is in your DMs. Feel free to show it off. I wouldn't be able to do this if this weren't for you, my friend. All right, we're going to check them out. First ever seen 777 throttles from Blackbird Controls. I'm going to bring those up here in just a minute, man. Thank you so much, Blackbird, for the $5 super chat. Get your wallets ready, y'all. You might want to stop sending me super chats and get ready to place an order with Blackbird Controls, because he's about to drop 777 honeycomb throttle mods. I can't wait to take a look at them. Al W., thank you for the 38 months support. FO giving you the side eye. I think she likes you. Please no. I've been practicing. You're in danger now, Zippy. We'll see, my man. We'll see, dude. Migs dropping 10 gifted memberships as well. Migs, thank you so much for the support, man. Really, really appreciate that, Migs. Man, you guys are absolutely awesome with the support. 75 new members, just absolutely crushing it. You guys are... I love V1 Nation, man. I always say this. I'm biased, obviously, but V1 Nation, best nation. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Migs. And AJ, hold on, let me proofread AJ's message before I read it out loud. There we go. Can't gamble on them boys, so gamble's landing rate. Touche, my man. Touche. Yeah. What a game last night, though. Monday Night Football is the Cowboys and Jets, man. As soon as they're mathematically eliminated from the Super Bowl, they decide to play well. I don't understand it. They're both cursed. Thanks, AJ. Johan Jacobs, Merry Christmas to you and the family, the 140 Czar. Dude, so much, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Johan. Merry Christmas to you and the family as well. Happy holiday season. And here's to 2025. I don't know if we're going to be doing a New Year's Eve stream. We might. V1 Nation, only nation. Amen to that, Migs. Cheers, brother. I love my Blackbird control, but question, how do you map the reversers? You map them like you'd map any other reversers. Key 6. I believe somebody posted a good video in the Discord today about how to do the Bravo bindings for reversers, because there's like decrease and cut, and I would just recommend watching that, or like watch that, because once you learn the concept, without me going into my control settings right now, and I'm not flying the 7.3 right now anyway, so it'd be kind of a pain in the butt to do it in 2024. But once you learn the concept of how you want to map reverse, you can apply that to all the airplanes, most of them anyway. I don't have it off the top of my tongue. I want to say you do like decrease and then hold or something like that. But check the video. Somebody posted it today, Key 6. about all binds for the Honeycomb Bravo, and it goes into detail of how to set up certain things. All right, y'all, you ready? Ooh, brother. 777 throttles from Blackbird Controls. Those are chonky. I like it. All right, let me pull them up here. Are these on your website yet? Let me get a website link. Oh, we're in before the website. Nice. All right. I'm going to pin this to the top. And let me do a window capture. Is this it? Yes. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 777 Honeycomb Bravo throttle mods. We've got, looks like a auto throttle disconnect. Is this a 777 button? I'm not sure what this is here. I'm not familiar with the 777. That almost looks like a Toga. Look how thick they are here. I mean, this is legit. That's the Toga. Okay, so that's Toga. Oh wow. So these are your Toga push buttons up in the front here. Very cool. Very, very cool. And then your auto throttle disconnect, and then your reverse levers down here. That is sweet. And y'all, I've been running the, let's see if I have some. Here's my NG throttle real quick. So I've got my NG throttle here still. And they are by far the best quality Bravo mods that you can buy. Okay, by far. So what I like about the 7.3 ones here is if you look, it actually takes up 2 axes because of the way the base is, and it rides so much smoother. When you have two 737 NGs in there, you're taking up 4 axes. Makes it feel really, really good. Plus, just the way that he's done the molding and everything is it's awesome. It's far better than anything I've used. I've used a bunch, guys. Trust me, I'm not speaking. I don't know if I have my weaknesses. Yeah. So like, here's another high dollar one. Look at this high dollar throttle mod. This is not Blackbird, by the way. This is somebody on Etsy. I can't remember who makes this one, but this is the kind of, I hate to say junk, but it does not reflect the price at which you pay for these. The Blackbird control levers, yes. Yes. 100%. So, these are the 777 ones. That's awesome, Blackbird, man. Those look really, really cool. I think they're going to be up, when are they going to be up on your site? Blackbird controls. Very cool, man. Starting to get a bunch of schedule alerts. Everyone's calling out. Unacceptable. About an hour. All right, we'll check back, Blackbird, when they're going live, and we'll make an announcement. But very cool, my man. Love it. Love it. I'm gonna keep this stamp. I'm gonna keep this handy. I'm not even gonna close it. I'm just gonna keep it handy. So when you come back and let us know it's out, we'll post them up. JJ's asking if we have a price point yet. Don't suffer from whiskey reversers. Order from Blackbird Controls. Dreamrosity, yeah. I love it, man. New products. I think 2025 is going to be... It's almost like each year that goes by in Flight Sim, it's not just like a linear progression. It's like we keep stepping, like multiplying. It's exponentially better as each year goes by. Look at these clouds, y'all. Look at these clouds. Team Vodka, what does yours look like? Not that good, that's for sure. Same price point as the 737. Very cool. Who knows how to rebind Avionics Master 1.2? I cannot get Scene Mine to work. first and foremost, Bearded Aviator, when you're setting it up, delete all your binds, and then do them as you want. So it'd be set avionics 1, set avionics 2. That way you don't have to do on and off. Typically when you bind something that says set, it will turn it on, or it'll turn it to the appropriate position. And then when you release that toggle switch, it'll deactivate that toggle switch. Vodka says he thinks his look better. No way, dude. Take a screenshot out your left wing right now. That looks so dang good. Look at the texturing on the PC12 wing there, too. Looks pretty good. Alexander Blaine, Phil and I just got back from vacation with the family. We stayed 14 days at Orlando. Ooh. Planning next vacation, thinking about the great state of Texas. Any tips? Oh, man. Well, the great state of Texas is pretty large, so you're going to have to narrow down what you kind of want to see unless you plan on driving in between. If you're coming to the best part of Texas, North Texas, up in Fort Worth, you want to go check out the stockyards. Depending on what you want to do, I don't know if you have older kids or younger kids. But the stockyards are really cool, depending on what time of year you come out. Like right now, for Christmas time, it's all decked out with Christmas stuff. You can see the cattle drive. They do it every day at 3 p.m., I think. I think it's every day at 3 p.m. I can't remember. You can watch the real longhorns, not fake longhorns. Like, they got to be, 10 feet, tip to tip, 10 foot to be a true longhorn. There's ice skating, got the ice skating rink up and stuff right now, so that's kind of a cool thing to do if you're going to be during the Christmas season. If you're coming during summertime, it's going to be hot as all get out, but still fun. Austin has got not too much in Austin. San Antonio, you can go do the river walk. That's pretty popular. San Antonio, it's kind of a popular restaurant scene. So it really depends on how long you're here too, because you could drive between them, but you're looking at 5, 6 hour, 8 hour drives depending on where you're going. Houston's all right. Houston's cool, but no, I take that back. Houston's not really that cool. I love Texas, but man, I don't like Houston. Now, there's some areas down in Houston that are all right. There's definitely some areas in Houston that are all right. Got to go to Babes in Arlington. Go to Babes, yep. I was watching, I wasn't even watching the stream, and I got the membership gifted. Hey, well, welcome on board, man. That's how we do it here at V1 Nation. Anything west of Midland, Odessa is boring. Yeah, don't go west of El Paso, Midland, Odessa, unless you're watching Landman. Watch Landman. Hey, before you come out, Alexander Bellini, you got to watch a series on, I don't know if it's on Netflix. No, it's on Amazon Prime. You got to watch Landman. It's my new favorite series. Do a little bit of Texas history. I used to do a lot of flying out there, out in West Texas. A lot of freight. Or just come to New York, more things to do. Well, that is true. There's a lot more to do in New York. That is true. As long as that nuke doesn't go off that they're looking for, Bill's Mafia, with all those drones. I've thought about going to Houston Rodeo for the concerts. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Yeah, you'll have fun there, dude. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong, like, when there's big events and stuff in Houston, concert, rodeo, etc., whatever it is, you're going to have a good time. All right. Franklin Barbecue, Austin. How'd you think of it? What'd you think, Key 6? What do you think about Franklin's? Avoid Corpus? Yes, avoid Corpus Christi. Absolutely. All right, we're about to go feet wet, so we're about to get ready to go into our green dot here. As soon as we go feet wet, we'll open up the green dot. We'll zoom our range down here. We got a little bit of pretty much clear sailing once we get out over the water. Pretty much clear sailing once we get out over the water. How do I like the PC12? It's grown on me quite a bit, man. I actually really enjoy it. The way it hand flies is really nice, dude. Stop with the H-Town hate. No, there's no hate, David. There's no hate, dude. It's so dang hot and humid, man. It's so hot and so humid. Like Houston, the city of Houston, I do not enjoy. But there are areas around South Texas that I like. There's some really good fishing down there, too. Should change the name of the stream to H-Townator. And no, here's the thing. My new team this year is going to be the Houston Texans. I'm rooting for the Houston Texans out the Cowboys route. Damn good barbecue. I don't think we'll wait 4 hours again, but glad we did the experience. There you go. And the leftovers were good the next day. Yeah, it's all about the experience, man. It's all about the... You go to Franklin's... gosh, what are the other ones down there? I'm drawing a blank. There's Franklin's. There's... I'm literally drawing a blank. Not Salt Lick. Salt Lick is kind of meh. It's not meh. It's just... It's kind of clapped out. Gosh, I just recommended all these to someone, and now I can't think of them now. Terry Black's, thank you. Terry Black's, Franklin's, and there's one more. My mind is fried. Yes, I did see the kneecap dislocation, man. That was brutal. It wasn't even a kneecap. Dude, he broke his leg in half. Like, nasty. Nasty. I saw an alternate angle, and it's not good, dude. Not good. Where's my... Yeah, so you've got... we talked about Terry Black's... Salty Sal. Where was that chicken place I recommended? I can't remember what it was called. There was this place that had like crazy looking chicken. And can't think of the name of it. Oh well. I'm sure a couple Google searches will get you where you need to be. BKG, it's not necessarily a mess anymore. You still have pressurization issues. You got to stay low. Got to stay low, brother. Cooper's at the Lana location. Come to H-Town, I'll get you field tickets so you can tour Daniel Hunter's hangar. All right. AJ. Now you're just bringing your ex into it with the Salty Sal, huh? My wife loves the Cowboys. Maybe I shouldn't go. Ooh. Oh, my wife loves Cowboys. Yeah. You'll be all right. Get yourself a Stetson and you'll be fine. You'll blend right in. Sure. Stetson, pair of Ariats, you'll be good to go, man. This is the PC12 NGX. PC12 NGX, Kelly. We're about to do it. We're about to go feet wet. About to turn on the TV. Matter of fact, there it is right there. There's the coastline. OBS made a recording. Can't figure out how to just take a screenshot. Anyway, the recording doesn't capture ADR or doesn't replay it correctly. So what you're saying, T-VOD, because it doesn't look as good is what you're telling me. How do you get your weather radar working on the PC12? Michael Kirk. So, weather radar. Come down here and you want to turn on... I have NexRad. You can do weather radar situation, but we're not painting anything. That would only be out in front of you. But I like to keep the NexRad up. That's all I really use, honestly. I mean, we're flying Barry Seal Ops in South America, South and Central America, so we're going no matter what the radar says. Oh, there's the traffic. Look at that. There's the TCAS traffic. That's cool. That's really cool. BOR NEB Airways info. Huh. Yeah, there's an E190/TBM. -6 up here in Thunder Bay and snow. Oof. All right. Who's ready? How are we gonna watch this? Let's dig into our Green Dot Aviation episode. Let me turn the sim down a little bit more. I don't want to be up here where the prop is droning. Let's come back here. We should put it in the headrest right here. Like so. Alright, we'll go to full screen cam. I can still hear the prop droning. Let me turn it down. You see what I mean? It's like it's lacking base at cruise. All right. I like doing these. These are a whole lot of fun. Oh, that's going to be too large. We'll just pretend it's on our lap. We'll get close to the window. How's that? You guys are ridiculous. All right. I like having the window there just in case the airplane starts to roll. Okay, we've spent $5.4 million for this airplane, so I like to know that my airplane is still still flying straight and level when we get engrossed into this. All right. One of my favorite things to do here on the channel, little green dot in-flight entertainment. Make sure you guys know the drill. Check out Green Dot Aviation. As a matter of fact, I will just link this one at the top. We'll go ahead and copy that. I'll paste it here for anybody that's interested. Head over to Green Dot's channel. Like and subscribe. He allows us to share his content here on V1 Nation. Michael Kirk, welcome to Private Pilot. Glad to have you on board, man. Really appreciate you. Thank you for joining the channel. Exclamation point welcome with your new perks. All right. I got my tea. We're cruising over the water. Let's see what we got here on a little Monday afternoon in-flight entertainment. Man, I feel like I should have done a daytime one. Should we Alt F4 it, do a daytime one? Because it's daytime. I like doing nighttime ones when it's nighttime. Let me see real quick. What was my runner-up option for Green Dot Aviation? Give me a second. Let's see here. I got all these prime rib things on my YouTube now because I'm smoking a prime rib. Been looking at all these possible recipes. Ooh, there's a new one, Under Pressure. Where are we? Did we do that? Lost at Sea? Interesting. Do the new 3... Well, no, we're going to save that one. We save 320 ones for when we're into 320. We save 320 ones for when we're in the T320. All right, let's go live with this one.
Venezuelan countryside. The passengers on board...
Wait, where was he? Venezuelan countryside? Where's Gus when you need him?
High above the Venezuelan countryside, the passengers on board a West Caribbean Airways McDonnell Douglas MD-82 grab onto their seats as their aircraft is buffeted by storms. Suddenly, the plane begins to drop. But this is no normal turbulence. Their aircraft has started to fall out of the sky. The confused pilots desperately try to understand what is happening to their plane as it screams down through the dark clouds, falling at over 12,000 feet per minute. The pilots have just seconds to save the aircraft before they and their 158 passengers and crew come slamming down
Deep stall it
below. What you're about to see is a story of negligence, corruption, and basic human error. This is the story of West Caribbean Airways.
I've not seen this one. Dun, 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 dun. Love his intro music. Jeremy, I'm going to save that one for when we're on a 777 next. I'm saving that one. I haven't forgot. I'm saving it. Saving it. This is interesting. So that they had that sucker really stalled. Really stalled. Grave danger
time. It was a summer
time.
Evening in August 2005 when 152 passengers boarded West Caribbean Airways Flight 708 at Tocumen International Airport in Panama City. They were bound for Martinique in the French West Indies.
We're literally going just south of Tocumen.
Indies, a journey of about 3 hours. All of the passengers, bar one, were French citizens from Martinique, heading home after a week's holiday in Panama. Along with the passengers were 4 cabin crew, 1 dispatcher, 1 engineer, and 2 pilots. 40-year-old Captain Omar Ospina and 21-year-old First Officer David Munoz had reported for duty earlier that day at the airline's main base in Colombia.
Okay.
They had flown the plane to Panama and would now be flying it back east to Martinique.
So I wonder where they're in Colombia, or they're like Bogota base or something. I don't even know this airline, West Caribbean 708. Are they still operating? I feel like I don't think I've ever seen this airline out here.
Captain Ospina was an experienced pilot with almost 6,000 hours of flying under his belt, including over 1,000 on the MD-82.
So he's got 6,000 hours, pretty good. 1,000 hours on type. Anytime you're 1,000 hours on type, you're pretty much got a good handle on the airplane. You know, I mean, it can take 200 to 300 hours, 400 hours, 500 hours, I think, really on the Airbus, maybe even a little bit more than that on the Airbus, to really start to understand the airplane. But once, you know, up over 1,000, you've got, you've pretty much at 1,000 hours, you've pretty much seen every season of flight, you know, from spring to winter. So that really rounds out your experience. You get close to 1,000 hours a year typically, so that's that 1,000-hour mark. Pretty highly Colombian DC9, so he's been on this airplane pretty much his whole career.
Normally, at this point in the video, we would take a look at the captain's flying experience in more detail. But the most interesting thing about Captain Ospina was not what he did in the cockpit, but what he did outside of it. As well as being an airline pilot, Ospina was a restaurant owner. This wasn't some scheme to make money on the side, however, nor was it a long-running family business. Ospina had opened this business recently out of necessity, as a way of supporting his family, because West Caribbean Airways had not paid him in the last 6 months.
What?
The airline was struggling financially, and it had stopped paying large portions of its pilots and cabin crew as a way of staving off bankruptcy. On this night, the knock-on effects of these financial difficulties would become all too obvious. First off,
that's a bad sign. I'm surprised they're still operating, not paying pilots. That's kind of, you know, the paychecks stopped coming. Really not a good sign. Really not a good sign.
Munoz was in much the same boat as the captain, having also not been paid for nearly half a year. He was less experienced.
Half a year? He hasn't been paid for half a year. They both haven't been paid for 6 months. Gosh, that's crazy. 21-year-old Colombian. Excuse me, I got a cough. DC9 MDA, 1,000 hours, 862. So he's up there. I mean, I don't know what this is. L410. I'm not sure what that is. DC9 MD82, 1,300 hours.
Of total flying experience, 800 of which were on the MD82. There is much to be said for leaving personal stress at home when you're doing your job.
Yes.
Or one of your two jobs, as was the case for the captain. But for the crew of Flight 708, that was hard to do. That's because the financial state of their airline was so bad that it presented very real everyday problems for them on the job. On this night, as the passengers settled in and waited for the plane to push back,
Is that 2024?
Captain Ospina was going back and forth with the refuelers, trying to persuade them to fuel the plane for its trip to Martinique.
Oh my gosh, because they wouldn't pay because the airline's going out of business. That's crazy. So I know guys that flew for not Eastern. Was it Eastern? Where they literally told them, hey, we're going bankrupt. We can't. You're not getting the fuel. Or they would. I remember in the heyday of Pan Am, they would actually put buckets out under the over vent ports or whatever, because they would just top off the airplane until it was overfilling on the ramp. Like, they just did not care about money. But the opposite is true, where like some stations, they will not actually fuel you. And was it ATA? Maybe it was ATA. But they, you know, like, hey, you're going bankrupt. We're not going to fill the aircraft, and you got to kind of argue with them to get it filled up. This is crazy. So this is a really bad sign for the airline. A lot of stress going on already. Jeez, it's unfortunate.
The refuelers were reluctant, as they were legitimately concerned that the airline simply wouldn't pay for the fuel. This had been an ongoing issue with the airline, and had made life extremely difficult for everyone involved in the
Braniff was the one I was thinking of.
Operation. And, as you might expect, it wasn't like the airline was otherwise perfect, apart from a few financial woes. A recent annual inspection had revealed that the company had made its crews work illegal hours, and that it had failed to provide them with some of the required training. If this wasn't enough, the airline had also recently been sanctioned for allowing an aircraft to take off while being more than a ton overweight.
Jeez.
Of course, the passengers were completely oblivious to all of this, but that didn't mean that they were free from the consequences of the airline's misdeeds.
So, I mean, this is just blatant disregard for safety and all things, right? So part of the I'm safe checklist, you know, like your illness, mental health is one of them. Are you stressed? How are you feeling? So, man, it's a tough spot to be in for this crew.
Finally, after much back and forth, the plane was fueled, and it began its pushback 2 hours behind schedule at just before 1 o'clock in the morning. It was a short taxi out, and within 5 minutes, Flight 708 had lined up on runway 21 left at Panama. The captain set takeoff power.
Whoa, that's compressor stall.
Began accelerating.
No FADEC on that MD-80.
Shortly after takeoff, the pilots retracted the gear and raised the flaps.
Yeah, I think M is meds, but illness, meds, I don't even know what it stands for, but I know in our little thing it says that your mental health is part of the I'm safe checklist.
On Flight 708 climbed into the night sky above Panama. In about 3 hours, the passengers were expecting to touch down in Martinique. The captain flew the plane manually up to 9,000 feet, and then engaged the autopilot, allowing it to take the plane to its initial cruising altitude of 31,000 feet. The plane had nearly a full load of passengers and cargo, and so it climbed more slowly than usual. The weight and balance document provided to the pilots before departure had shown that the aircraft weighed 149,000 pounds. Being this heavy put some limits on their aircraft, especially in terms of how high they could cruise. We'll revisit that fact in a moment, because for now, there was another problem for the pilots. As the plane climbed, it began flying through layers of dense cloud. And given how cold it was outside,
They're going to turn the
moisture
anti-ice
from
on.
the clouds posed a threat of turning into ice when it hit the wings and the engines. Ice is one of the most lethal threats an aircraft can face, because it changes the shape of the very precisely designed wings, rendering them unable to perform their basic job of keeping the plane in the air. Ice isn't good for the engines either, because it can disrupt the smooth flow of air into them, causing them to run less efficiently, or, if the icing is really bad, to fail. But if clouds were such a big problem for aircraft, they wouldn't get very far. For that reason, the MD-82, like all airliners, is fitted with an anti-icing system.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time the MD-80's been in icing conditions. But, yeah, people underestimate the hazards of ice. They just think it's because it's a weight thing. While it adds weight to the aircraft, but it's everything else that's happening, right? You're changing the aerodynamic structure of the airfoil, which is then making the wing less efficient. You're also interrupting smooth airflow, depending on how you're, like on the MD-80, right? It goes over the wings, get into the engine. So if you start to increase that AOA because the icing on the aircraft is getting so great that it actually has to increase the AOA to maintain lift. Now you're going to put the engines in a risk of a compressor stall because you're not getting smooth airflow to them. Then you can get in a real downward spiral. So there's a whole lot more to just icing than adds weight to the airplane. Like it really can bring an airplane down really quickly if it goes untreated. The good news is we have systems in place that handle icing, even some of the most severe icing, really well. So but it's going to take performance from the airplane to do that, so I kind of have a feeling I know where this is going.
For both the wings and the engines. As the pilots climbed through the clouds, they turned this system on. Hot air from inside the engines was then fed through ducts, both around the engine intake and along the leading edges of the wings. At over 200 degrees Celsius, this heated up the leading edges of the wings and the engine intakes to a point that no ice could form on them. This was vital for maintaining the aerodynamic shape of the wing and the smooth flow of air into the engines. But it had an unfortunate trade-off.
It's going to take power from the engine, right? You got to take bleed air. Now, this is a heated wing, very common. This is most common in airline transport category aircraft. PC12, like we're flying right now, a little bit different. We got boots, okay? Different concept. Instead of running a hot wing, you're running a boot. So you let ice build up, and then you blow the boots, and that is a de-icing system, which is what we have. Same thing, same effective. I don't want to say same effectiveness. It does take away power from the airplane, and it is. I would argue that boots are a little bit less effective than a hot wing, just because you can get ice bridging, and there's a couple other things that can happen when you have boots. But if everything's working properly, it will also get the job done. But yeah, running heated wings, everything in the ATP or airline transport category aircraft. I'm sure there's one out there with boots, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Most of them are all going to be heated.
Ideally, all the air that enters the engines gets shot out the back, creating thrust. But when some of that air is siphoned off to prevent icing, the engines produce less thrust. The pilots were well aware of this, however, and even though it took them 5 minutes longer than usual to climb to their cruising altitude, they reached it eventually, and all appeared well. Before we continue, I want to say a quick word about this video's sponsor, Saily. Have you ever been lost abroad or badly needed an internet connection in
I haven't. The boots inflating on the TBM, yeah, the model of that is pretty awesome. So if you have the TBM, you can see that when you inflate the boot, you'll watch actually the ribs on the leading edge, they'll inflate. That's what cracks the ice off. So I've used boots before. They're pretty wild. I mean, the first time I ever used a boot, I was actually in clear ice, which I couldn't believe. I was like, man, I feel something was wrong. Something was telling me that that something was wrong outside the airplane. Like, I didn't see any ice accumulating. I knew I was in icing conditions, but I didn't see anything accumulating. I had the prop heats on, I had the engine heats on, and I'm flying around and I'm like, I'm going to blow the boots. So I'm looking out the window and I blow the boot to my 99, and the entire leading edge lit up like a crackled Krispy Kreme donut. You know, the ice was so clear. That's why they call it clear ice. And it's actually very dangerous because you can't see it, and it's extra dense, because what makes the ice cloudy is air particles, air bubbles and stuff. So when you don't have that, and it only happens in certain conditions where you get clear ice, and the whole leading edge was covered in clear ice. So I blew the boots, I saw it crack off, and then immediately I felt the difference in the aircraft performance. So clear ice is pretty scary stuff. Most common, you're going to get a mixed ice or a rime icing, which you'll see kind of like that white milky looking thing on the leading edge of the wing.
Aircraft was safely established in the cruise at flight level 310. The cabin crew began serving meals and drinks. There was a relaxed atmosphere on board, with the passengers looking forward to finally getting home. Up in the cockpit, however, the pilots had a new problem: the weather. On their weather radar display, the pilots could pick out bands of storms.
No, it's pretty bad.
As storm clouds form, water droplets within the cloud collide and join together, forming bigger and heavier water droplets. These water droplets are supported by large updrafts of air, where the droplets continue to collide, forming larger and larger droplets. The larger the water droplets, the bigger the target they will make for the radar pulse sent from an aircraft. These reflected pulses will then show up on the aircraft's radar screen as different colors: green for light precipitation, amber for moderate, and red for heavy rain.
Right. So that's, and we get into weather radar discussions a lot here on the channel, because I want a weather radar, or I want this, or I want that weather radar. Like, I'm fine with just an XRAD radar, because the complexity of having a real radar, I can only imagine is going to take a significant amount of performance from the airplane in the sim world. But yes, a real radar does not depict clouds. It depicts it has to have some type of surface to reflect back on. So whether it's ice pellet, whether it's a water droplet, or dense water, and it can determine those densities based on how it's received back at the transmitter. That's where you get the different levels, excuse me, of radar indication here. Green and yellow, keep wings level. Red and purple, fly a circle. Okay, that's what you got to do.
Radars also have purple for extreme.
Yeah, purple's no good.
The heavier the rain, the more violent the turbulence pilots can expect to encounter within the cloud.
Yes and no. In the new weather radars in the Airbus, I have to turn the gain down, because they'll be painting solid yellow, sometimes even red. And I'm telling you, if you go through it, sometimes I've gone through that, and it's just heavy rain. It's just heavy rain. I don't know if it's the type of precipitation or the type of density combined with the new weather radars on the Airbus, but it will show that it looks really, really nasty. But you fly through it, you don't get a bump. It's just the right amount of density in the precipitation. So I always turn the gain down a little bit on the new RDR 4000s. I turn that manual gain down to about 45 to the left instead of neutral.
After looking at the storms, it was clear that the pilots needed to change course. The first officer radioed air traffic control, requesting a heading change. He was then cleared to turn to avoid the storms, and with that, the captain twisted the heading selector knob on the autopilot, and the plane began turning. The pilots would now begin their task of picking their way through the storm clouds, trying to make the journey as safe and comfortable for the passengers as possible. To that end, they had another option at their disposal. As well as turning, there is another way to avoid storms. You can fly above them. Flying higher also has the advantage of using less fuel. So, 6 minutes after requesting a change of course from air traffic control, the first officer asked to climb 2,000 feet to flight level 330.
Climbing above a storm is always going to be my last option. Okay, unless it's something super low level, you know, like in the teens, maybe low 20s. If I see some big buildups, the last thing I'm going to do is look at the progress page and see what my max altitude is to see if I can go above it. That's just a recipe for problems to unfold. So going above it, not the best option in my opinion, especially if you're already going to be running. If you're already heavy, you're already running the engine and the ice, so you're already reducing power from the airplane because you've got the bleed air supplying the heated wing and the engine nacelles, etc. Interesting decision choice here.
But there was a problem. Normally, the plane would have been well able to climb to and stay at flight level 330. But with the anti-ice system turned on, the maximum altitude reachable by the plane had been reduced by 3,000 feet.
Interesting. Wow, that's a
With some
significant...
of the hot air from the engines being diverted to the anti-ice system, the engines just couldn't produce the thrust needed to stay at a higher altitude.
That's pretty crazy. That's a significant drop. I actually am not even aware of that. I'm sure there's an issue with there's some sort of difference on the Airbus, but man, nothing that I've like glaring. 3,000 foot at that weight. I mean, these guys probably have charts up there that tell them their max cruise altitude, anti-ice on, anti-ice off. A 3,000 foot difference, that's significant.
This was clearly spelled out on the aircraft's performance tables on board, which showed what altitude the aircraft could reach at various weights and configurations. If the pilots had checked these tables, they would have seen that flight level 330 was simply not possible at their current weight with the anti-ice on.
There you go.
But they didn't check these tables. The controller cleared the flight up to 33,000 feet, and the pilots began climbing.
Gonna get a lesson in
During the
aerodynamics
climb,
here pretty
the pilots
soon.
engaged the vertical speed mode of the autopilot and commanded the plane to climb at a rate of 500 feet per minute. Vertical speed mode is rarely used by pilots, and for good reason. When it's in use, the plane will try to achieve the selected rate of climb no matter what.
True, no matter what. Nick Fletcher, thank you for the 10 pounds, man. I appreciate you. Hey, guys, off for the night. If I don't get to log on again, have a great Christmas. Hey, Nick, have a great Christmas yourself, man. Thank you so much for the 10-pound donation, dude. Hope you have a wonderful rest of 2024. Merry Christmas to you, man. Take it easy. Good night. So, the guy's going into vertical speed here. In the MD-80, I believe it's pretty common practice, vertical speed. However, this is just another step in the wrong direction as far as what are you guys doing to the condition of the airplane here? Because vertical speed mode, like Green Dot is saying, is it's going to honor the vertical speed as much as it can. It's going to sacrifice airspeed, all of the airspeed, if you let it. So you got to be very careful with the use of vertical speed. But when you get up to the high flight levels, you got to be very careful, because if you don't use vertical speed, the airplane kind of levels off. It might meander. But it's just, this is just, yeah. If I had $1 for every time that I heard of an incident of a shaker going off because somebody left it in vertical speed in the climb out, I'd have $12 by now. I had my buddy, my close friend, he's on a triple now, but he worked the ASAP committee, and it happens more often than you think. It's pretty scary. I'm drifting off course a bit. Fake news. Let me see. No, we are right on course, man. We are bang on course. I don't know what you're talking about. We're going direct to Stig. We're not going direct to the airport. We're going direct to... I mean, we can go... Let's go direct Osima. I'll go direct Osima. But we are bang on. The little airplane check here. Everything looks good. Pumps. How's our fuel? We're 2,000 pounds. We got about a 3-hour endurance left. That's looking good. About 52 minutes until touchdown. That might shorten up here in a little bit too, hopefully. So we are looking good. All right, let's go back to our movie seat. Oh, you're going direct to the field? Okay.
Even if the climb is so steep that it causes the plane to get dangerously slow, the autopilot will simply continue to pitch the nose up in a vain effort to achieve the rate the pilots have selected. And as Flight 708 climbed, that's exactly what happened. The captain had selected a speed of Mach 0.75 on the autopilot, or 75% the speed of sound. But in its effort to climb at an admittedly small rate of 500 feet per minute, the aircraft couldn't maintain this speed. And
I hate this. This triggers me because I see new guys, well, not so much anymore, but there will be new guys coming off of the 145 CRJ that come into the Airbus, and they try to adopt the same technique here going into the high flight levels. You can't do this. You've got to be very, very careful when you do this. The reason he's selecting 7.5 is he knows he's selecting an unattainable airspeed. If you select an unattainable airspeed, the engines are going to be at max power. So once you have that, now you set your vertical speed, and you're going to get the best that you can get, and you're just going to sacrifice losing your energy pitching for that vertical speed rate. So for instance, say you're in a heavy 321, your optimum altitude is 34,000 feet. You're going to be kind of right on the line. Guys coming through 33.3. What they might do is they might just go vertical speed 8.1, or I'm sorry, they might go selected speed 8.1, vertical speed 1,000. And what they're doing is they're just trying to get the airplane to pitch up and capture that. And in small doses, it's fine. It's going to work. But when you're flying above the max cruising altitude already and you're running engine anti-ice, this is going to be a hardcore lesson in aerodynamics here. I could see it coming right now. So the use of vertical speed is very selective in when you should use it. Okay, descending, that's one of the best times to use vertical speed because you know exactly how long it's going to take you to reach an altitude. If you're doing 1,000 feet a minute, if you know in 5 minutes I'm going to be 5,000 feet lower, perfect. If I'm doing 2 miles a minute in 5 minutes, that's 10 miles. Okay, it's easy math. It's easy to use in descents. However, climbing, yeah, I was never a fan here.
And to slow down. Thankfully, the pilots were watching the airspeed, and before the aircraft had even been climbing for 1 minute, the captain leveled off in order to allow his speed to build back up.
So he knows what's happening. He's zoom climbing the airplane, but here's a red flag. You shouldn't be zoom climbing an MD-82. Now, I never flew the MD-82. Maybe this was more common on the MD-80. I'm not sure. I've zoom climbed the Airbus a little bit, you're trying to catch up to that. You're going to level here, so I level off, accelerate, try to get that speed up. Okay, now trade speed for altitude, right? In certain situations, it's acceptable, and it's just part of managing the airplane. They haven't forgot about it here. They're doing everything they should be doing. He's leveling off. He's accelerating, trying to zoom climb it. Do you guys remember what happened when we tried to zoom climb the Sky Courier? 3, 4, 5 streams ago in career mode? I was doing the same exact thing. I was trying to zoom climb it up to altitude. The problem is when you start zoom climbing an airplane and you're trying to go above where it's supposed to be, you're going to start getting into the regional reverse command. And we'll see that here in a minute.
The fact that he had to do this after climbing just 500 feet should have been a sign that he was approaching the performance limits of his aircraft. A plane should be able to climb 2,000 feet without needing to stop and catch its breath along the way. But the pilots were tired, stressed, and they didn't appreciate how close they were taking their plane to its limits. What's more, the culture at the airline was not one where something like this would have been seen as a potential safety issue.
So it's pretty common.
So, once the speed had built back up, the captain again put the aircraft in a climb into thinner and thinner air.
Mm-hmm.
This time, he made it a bit further, reaching 32,300 feet before having to level off yet again.
So he's leveling off every 500 feet to accelerate. MiGs, they're well inside coffin corner. They're already above their maximum flight level. So they are getting into, and here's the other thing. This is a T-tail. You take a T-tail up into this. This is not good. This is not good. We operate the ERG, use pitch for climb, not vertical speed. I suppose at least pitch maintains the pitch you set and doesn't chase figures. Correct. That's the difference between pitch, right? It'll maintain pitch for climb versus targeting a vertical speed. The Embraer, you have speed on elevator and speed on thrust. Okay, if you're speed on elevator, the airplane is going to manipulate the elevator to maintain the speed. So if you're climbing out on speed on elevator at 7.4 Mach and you can't climb anymore, it's going to keep lowering the nose to maintain 7.4 Mach. If you're speed on thrust, it's going to set thrust. If it can't reach it, it's just going to flash limb. It's going to say speed limb, but it's going to keep pitching. And it's kind of the same thing in the Embraer 170, 190. Same thing. I saw guys go from the 145, the CRJ, to the Embraer 170, 190. Same thing. They try to fly that airplane like the ERJs, and you get into issues like this where you get a shaker going off. So it's not good.
By this point, he knew he wasn't going to make it all the way up to 33,000 feet without changing something. Luckily for him, it seemed, there was a straightforward fix. He asked the first officer to switch off the anti-ice system.
So he's aware of it.
With almost all of the air entering the engines now being pushed out the back as thrust, the plane now had the power it needed to climb the last 700 feet to flight level 330.
Man.
The captain began climbing again, but even with this extra boost to engine power, the airspeed still decreased during the climb. The engines were at their maximum thrust setting, unable to produce any more power. It should have been abundantly clear to the pilots that they were pushing their plane to its limits.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, Flight 708 reached flight level 330. The pilots had made it for now.
What's your speed doing?
The aircraft began accelerating. The captain was well aware of how unusual this low performance was, and he told the first officer that he had trouble trying to get the plane's speed up. In fact, it took a full 4 minutes for the plane to accelerate from Mach 0.70 to Mach 0.75.
4 minutes.
That rate of acceleration is analogous to flooring the accelerator in your car while on the motorway and still taking a few minutes to go from 100 kilometers an hour to 110. The MD-82's engines were straining just to get the plane to fly at its normal cruising speed. To make matters worse, this whole struggle for speed was with the anti-ice system off, meaning that the plane had more power available to it than usual, and yet still it struggled. The plane was still in icing conditions, however. All the speed in the world would be no good if the wings and engines were covered in ice. So, in order to be safe, the pilots turned the anti-ice back.
Okay, so you just maxed out your airplane getting up to this altitude that you're above where you're supposed to be at. They're probably, like Nick Hallam's saying, I mean, the mindset is just not there, right? These guys are dealing with a lot of stress outside of the job. They haven't been paid. Their morale is in the toilet. They've probably seen this a dozen times. They're both relatively experienced on the airplane. He hasn't, up until this point, the crew hasn't really done anything that would be considered abnormal. They're just not doing, they're not looking ahead, or they're not seeing the full picture. But what they're doing would be considered a normal procedure in the MD-80, I guess. You know, your vertical speed, climb it up, zoom it up a little bit. Man, this airplane is really sucking on performance. Okay, turn the ice off, get up to your cruise altitude. Now what happens when you turn the ice on? You're going to lose performance. Now you're going to start running into some serious issues.
Back on. Once again, there was a reduction in engine power as hot air from the engines was diverted to the wings and engine nacelles. And with this reduction in thrust came a gradual, barely noticeable reduction in speed.
I love how that Mach number kind of rattles in there.
Of course, the simple solution for all of this would be to descend. The aircraft had been doing just fine a few minutes ago at flight level 310. And besides, the extra 2,000 feet of altitude wasn't saving them that much fuel anyway. The safest thing the pilots could do at this point was to put the plane in a controlled descent back down to 31,000 feet. But this didn't occur to them. At this point, straining to maintain the aircraft's speed, the autothrottle switched to a mode known as Mach EPR limit. This meant that the engines were now operating at their maximum output. This change in mode was displayed on the cruise flight mode annunciator as Mach Alt, and the pilots should have noticed it. But they didn't. The aircraft continued to decelerate. A cabin crew member entered the cockpit with food for the pilots. This occupied their attention for a few moments, and took it away from the plane's ever-reducing speed.
Well, that's good. They still have catering on board. That's pretty good. I mean, they're a bankrupt airline. They still got catering. I mean, that's a lot can be said about that. Just checking up on our time. All right, good. We're looking good right there. Let's go back. I'm kind of surprised that they even have catering at this airline if they're already in bankruptcy or close to it. But all right, so now they're going to be distracted.
While this was happening, air traffic control had given them a shortcut, direct to a waypoint called Ongull. As far as the pilots were concerned, everything was going to plan. Their one concern was the possibility that ice would form on the leading edges of the wings. They were still in icing conditions. So, for the next few minutes, they alternated between turning the anti-ice system on and off.
Jeez. Okay, so this is crazy. Migs, thank you for the 5 Canadian, man. Plane max out and ice on. Might as well manually drop the landing gear and get the full coffin corner bingo card. Man, you're not even going to need the gear on this. I have a feeling this is not going to end well for these guys, because I'm going to explain here in a minute. Thanks, Migs, for the 5 Canadian. So, the fact that, I mean, they're still in tune with the airplane, right? They're manipulating their aircraft performance through the anti-ice to maintain somewhat of a speed at this altitude. My question is, what is the AOA of the airplane doing right now? What is the autopilot doing with the trim right now? Because remember, as you increase in altitude, or well, not even as you increase in altitude, but as the performance is degraded and the airplane is struggling to maintain altitude, what does it have to do to maintain that lift? It has to increase the angle of attack to maintain the same amount of lift it needs. So that AOA is going to keep getting bigger and bigger, and the airplane's going to be trimming that. This is not good here. This is not a good situation, even though the crew is still there. They're there. Like, anti-ice off. Okay, the engines are warm. The leading edge is warm. We don't need it. Let's build back our speed. Let's turn it off now. We need more speed. Or, okay, we've got our speed back. Let's turn the anti-ice on, heat up the wings. So they're totally aware of the risks with running out of performance, it appears. But are they monitoring the attitude of the airplane? That's my question next.
As the plane continued slowing down, it became more difficult for it to generate the lift required to stay at 33,000
Yes,
feet.
because guess what happens? As you continue as it slows down, that AOA is getting larger. With the increase in the angle of attack, now you have to have more thrust to overcome that extra induced drag from the increased angle of attack. You're just putting yourself into a hole deeper and deeper and deeper here. This is what's happening. The hole is getting deeper and deeper as they continue to fly along. This is rough. It's really odd. The pilots here are clearly aware that they're at limit performance, yet they're wishing for something that can't happen. Just odd. Migs. And it seems like, I totally agree with you, Migs. It seems like they just, they just forgot to look at the charts, because I have a hard time believing that a crew that is this aware of what they're doing would be doing this if they blatantly knew, hey, we're like 3,000 or 4,000 feet, whatever it is, above our max altitude we're supposed to be at. I don't know if that was discussed. I don't know if they have the CVR to this. But, I mean, one look at your chart saying, hey, dude, we're well above our max. We got to get back down. I would think they would have. Maybe they just forgot. Maybe this is, like I said, this is probably common practice. But this is just outside of their comfort zone enough where they're like, this is weird. We're going to manipulate the switches here, but we're not going to check anything. But also, in the MD-80 specifically here, look what's happening. As this angle of attack is increasing, guess what's going to start happening to the airflow as it comes over the wing? It's going to start to be disrupted. As this airflow gets disrupted and it starts to try to go into the engines, you can start getting ready for some even worse performance from the engine, up to and including compressor stalls. So I'll be curious to see what happens here. This is not good.
At a slower speed, the only way the plane could maintain the altitude set on the autopilot was to pitch the nose up. So, over the next few minutes, that's exactly what it did.
That's what I was
gradually
saying.
increasing its pitch to generate the lift that it should have been creating through speed. Before long, its speed had dropped to just Mach 0.65, and its nose was pitched up to 6 degrees above the horizon, rather than the usual 2 or 3 degrees.
Now, what's eerie about this is when I was telling you about my clear ice story in the beach. Same thing. Like, I felt my spidey senses are going off saying, hey, why is my, everything wasn't quite right. My power performance wasn't right. My pitch attitude wasn't quite right. I knew there was something not quite right. And then the light dawned on me, hey, blow the boots. Blow the boots. Oh, hey, dummy, you got half inch of clear ice on your wings. Okay. Now everything comes back to normal. This situation here is not the first time this has happened, because it's happening so gradual. These guys are not noticing it. They're eating. They're probably talking. They're not noticing what's happening with their pitch indicator here. At least I'm assuming that they're not noticing.
Does anyone have a Bravo Airbus controls mapping for the honeycomb Airbus throttles?
Ooh.
I cannot get reversers to work in 2024. DM on Discord if you can help.
Ooh, JJ, man, yeah. Guys, if you use the honeycomb Bravo for reverse, see if you can help JJ in the Discord. JJ, there's also a video in there, binding reversers. Check that one out. That might be able to help you. I unfortunately don't have an answer, because I haven't used the Bravo for Airbus reverse in a long time. So, unfortunately, I can't help you there. But thanks for the bank angle check. Hopefully, someone in Discord will be able to help you out.
Degrees. This relatively high nose-up attitude wouldn't have been too much of a problem if it had no side effects. But in aerodynamics, there are always trade-offs.
There's always trade-offs.
In this case,
always.
with the wings
Look
generating more lift, they also generated more drag. This slowed the plane down even further. Before long, Flight 708 had slowed to Mach 0.62, and its nose was pointed over 7.5 degrees above the horizon.
Oh my gosh, dude, almost up to 10
The plane
degrees.
was now in such a bad position aerodynamically that, paradoxically, it was taking more thrust to maintain its slower speed than it would take to maintain a faster speed.
Yeah.
This is known as being behind the drag curve.
So this is what I was talking about, getting behind reverse command. I really kind of meant to say this. You're behind the drag curve now. So this is extremely dangerous, and this is extremely dangerous even in modern aircraft, not just the MD-80. If you fall out, we refer to it as falling out the backside of the drag curve. If your airplane gets to a point where it falls out the backside and you kind of essentially put it into not a flat spin, but a stall so deep aerodynamically, it will be unrecoverable. You will not recover the aircraft if you fall out the backside of the aircraft. This is not a fighter jet. You can't hit the burners and try to get in front of the drag curve. Once you get behind the drag curve, you get in this far back, man, it is not good. It will be unrecoverable, not just for an MD-80, for most modern aircraft.
And given that the plane was already using its maximum thrust, there was no way to move it to a point on this curve where it would need less thrust. It was now aerodynamically doomed to a lower speed. Unless, of course, the pilots descended into thicker air.
If they descend now, they might have time, Nicolam. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter. If you fall off the backside of the drag curve, depending on the airframe that you're in and the situations, remember situations are situational, but it may not be recoverable, even if you're from 30,000 feet. That's what's scary about it. So when I'm flying a heavy 321 and we're getting ready to go through turbulence, and you're looking at I'm looking at green dot, I'm looking at VLS, I am more scared about getting too slow than being too fast. Okay. If we're too fast, some things may bend. Eventually you'll probably rip things off the airplane, right? But in my opinion, being too fast is less of a threat than falling off the backside of that coffin corner and going down into a deep stall that is unrecoverable. So it's a very dangerous situation. And the fact that this is a T-tail, it just enhances that even more. And you'll see why here, I'm sure.
As lax as the pilots had been so far, this situation was now impossible to ignore. There was no way the plane could stay at 33,000 feet. The captain disconnected the autopilot and put the plane into a descent. His intention was to bring the plane back down to 31,000 feet, where the plane had been a few minutes ago.
So he's got the idea
to set this altitude on the autopilot panel.
He's got the idea.
Finally, the pilots had done the right thing. But now, a nasty surprise lay in store for them. As the aircraft ascended through 31,700 feet, the altitude alert system triggered, telling the pilots that they were approaching their selected altitude of 31,000 feet. In response to this, the captain pulled back in his control column to arrest the plane's descent. But just as he did, a sudden gust of wind hit the aircraft from below. And this is where things started to go badly wrong for Flight 708. The air was already approaching the engines from an abnormally off-centered angle, given the high angle at which the plane was hitting the oncoming air.
Yes,
but with
Josh,
this gust from below, that angle only became greater. More significant, however, was what the air had to pass by before it got to the engines.
Right, so remember they're right on top of convective activity, right? They're right on top of the thunderstorms. So now you're getting updraft, you get an updraft, and this is what I'm talking. I mean, I had one not too long ago. We were flying over the Rockies in a 321 Super Heavy, and as soon as we entered the turbulence, I could see that VLS come all the way up to bite me right at our speed, and I was like, we got to go down now. We got to descend now. And you just got to get down. You have to be so cognizant of the backside of the drag curve. And he's just making normal control inputs here, right? Level off the airplane. He's used to just, I'm going to make this control input. I'm going to pull back on the stick. When you pull back on the stick, what's going to happen? You increase your AOA even more. You combine that with an updraft, and now you're just going to put yourself into a nasty situation.
Wings. Normally, as the MD-82 flies, the air has a direct path into the engines, leading to a smooth, stable generation of thrust. But with the angle the plane was now making with the oncoming air, this clear path to the engines was essentially being blocked by the wings. And after the air hit the wings, it didn't return to the smooth flow it had been a few moments ago. It became turbulent as a result of its collision. The entry of this turbulent air into the engines caused their thrust output to drop instantly. And when it did, the plane's speed dropped too.
So now the engines can't even perform at what they're capable of now. You've even hindered their performance, even though they're already firewalled. That's it. I think that's probably going to be it. They're probably toast now. Blackbird Controls for the $10 super chat, my man. 777 throttles are now released on the Blackbird Controls website. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to all of you. Blackbird Controls, my man. Guys, if you want to pick up those Blackbird Control 777 levers, they are now out. Remember, we were looking at them here a minute ago. I'll bring them back up in a minute as soon as we finish this video. But Blackbird Controls, go get you set of 777 levers right there. There's the link. Blackbird, thank you so much, man, for the $10 super chat. We'll post it. I'll pin it here too as soon as we finish off our IFE. But very, very awesome, man. Can't wait to see y'all post some pictures.
And when the plane's forward speed dropped, the air began to approach the plane even further from below. This was a vicious cycle, and the worst was yet to come. In the cockpit, the pilot's control columns shook violently, indicating that the aircraft was about to enter an aerodynamic stall. This is a condition where the wing is simply unable to work with the air it encounters because of the angle it's coming from. In normal flight, when air flows smoothly over the upper surface of the wing, the curvature of the wing directs the air downwards at the trailing edge. When the air is deflected downwards, the wing, and thus the rest of the airplane, is deflected up. This is a big part of what makes a plane fly. But with the air now hitting the wing at a much steeper angle, there was no way for this smooth flow of air to stay connected to the top of the wing as it passed over it.
Separation of laminar
detached.
flow.
Essentially, the plane was now detached from the sky which had been holding it up. And so, it began to behave like
Full
any other
stall.
object in the sky, and it started to fall. In the cockpit, the correct response to this is to push the nose down. This works the same way as turning your car into the direction of a skid in order to regain control. Instead of fighting the problem, by working with it and pushing the nose into the direction of the oncoming air, you can restore the smooth flow of air over the wing. But this is not what the captain did. Rather than pushing the nose down so that the plane would face into the oncoming air, he held the nose up, in a vain effort to keep the plane flying.
What?
This was entirely against the training he had received earlier on in his career. However, Western Caribbean Airlines simulator training syllabus did not cover the recognition of a stall,
At
nor
high
did
altitude.
it even cover the correct procedure for recovery from a stall at high altitude.
Yep. Okay, so this is the difference. And this is, when was this? 1989, 1990, early on? Okay, so this is where there's eye-opening change in procedures and there's an eye-opening change in training that we have now. So even in my training from private pilot all the way up until my initial ATP type ride, it was minimize altitude loss and stall recovery. Minimize altitude loss and stall recovery. That was, you had your PTS standards. If you lost X amount of altitude, you would consider failing the maneuver. This works great at low altitude. You need to minimize altitude loss at low altitude so you don't hit the ground. At high altitude, it is not the case. If you try to minimize your altitude loss at high altitude and not respect the aerodynamics of high altitude stalls, you're going to worsen the situation and make it become unrecoverable, which is what's going to happen here. Because at high altitude, you could care less about the altitude you lose unless you're about to hit the ground. Okay. There's different techniques. I've been taught multiple different techniques as just training has changed. At one point it was, roll it over, try to get the wings to roll over so you could slice the nose through the horizon. If you watch that National 7-4 crash at a Bagram, you'll see that 7-4 start to roll. Yeah, that's part of the training. Those guys were trying to roll the wings over to get the nose to come down and regenerate lift. Very tragic, horrific accident, but that's what it wasn't just stalling and rolling by no reason. That was the crew actively trying to get the nose to come down by rolling the wings. It's originally, I think it was like a military maneuver, military technique. They taught us that for years. Now we train extensively in high altitude stalls, and there are different recovery techniques that we all use. Obviously, you got to push the nose down, right? You got to push the nose down. You can roll. I mean, depending on the airframe, roll may help, roll may not help. Power is not going to do anything. You could slam the thrust levers full forward. Not going to do anything there at 33,000 feet. It's really not going to do much at all. It's all about manipulating the airplane to get the air back over the wings. Unfortunately, these are lessons we learn in blood, right? So this lesson probably played fact in 2006, 2005. We were still teaching minimum altitude loss. Okay, this hadn't changed until I'd probably say, mid-2015s probably, mid-teens. Maybe even a little bit earlier, maybe 2000. Well, no, not really. It had to be mid-teens. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate. These guys probably were, and clearly they said they weren't trained any other way. So he's trying to minimize the altitude lost.
Whether or not the captain knew what was happening to the plane, the first officer did. He told the captain twice that the aircraft was stalling, but the captain didn't respond. The plane was now descending at over 5,000 feet per minute, well beyond a normal rate. And with this increasing descent rate came a new problem. The next victim of this turbulent airflow from behind the wings was not the engines,
Oh, really?
but the tail.
T-tail. Oh, gross.
The air was now hitting the wings from below at such an angle that the turbulent airflow in their wake had now expanded to encompass the tail of the aircraft. There is a terrible irony here in that the tail is the one thing the pilots are meant to use to get the plane out of a stall.
This is why T-tails scare the hell out of me, okay? When you're stalled, you got to lower the nose. You got to reduce the angle of attack, rather. You got to reduce the angle of attack. How do you reduce the angle of attack? By lowering the nose, in most cases. How do you do that? The elevator. Well, what if the elevator's on the tail and completely blanked out? You heard of rudder blanking? Using reverse thrust, it disturbs the airflow and it blanks the rudder out, so the rudder loses effectiveness. That's called rudder blanking on these T-tail mounted engines. This is why I don't... and this is why I don't believe that this design is really prevalent in modern aviation, because it has some advantages, but these drawbacks are absolutely deadly. Okay, the elevator's done. It's washed. You can't fly it. It stops flying. You're done. Okay, you learn this very on, like when I was training on Piper Seminoles, T-tail airplane. You flare that, you fly it down, you fly it into the ground, and you flare and you land fully flying. Okay, you don't land fully stalled, because guess what stalls first? The tail. The tail stalls. Guess what? Kablamo! You're denting that runway. Well, you learn that early on with T-tail training in the Piper Seminole. Same thing here, bigger scale, and this is not good.
When a pilot pushes the nose forward to recover from a stall, this moves the elevator in the tailplane down, like this. Similar to how lift works in a wing, when the air flowing over the tail follows the downward deflected elevator, the tail itself is pushed up. And when the tail is pushed up, that's the same as the nose of the plane being pushed down. The only problem for Flight 708 was that there was no smooth flow of air over the tail.
Right, and Bill's Mafia, yes. So roll it. In this case, rolling it over, get the nose to come through the horizon. But this was not taught in 2006. That's the thing. That was taught later on. Absolutely. That's really your only option in this case, is to roll it over to see if you can get the nose to come down. Okay, because your tail is lost complete effectiveness.
It was effectively in the aerodynamic shadow of the main wing. So, even if the captain were to push the control column forwards, it would have no effect. The elevator in the tail had no smooth flow of air to work with. This is a particular weakness in the design of T-tailed aircraft like the MD-82, and it's the reason that a stall in one of these aircraft can be even more dangerous than a stall in a conventional airplane. Regardless of this, the captain continued pulling back on his control column, even as the aircraft warned him that he was stalling. And in his panicked state, the captain made the situation even worse. As he grabbed the control column, he accidentally held down the trim switches, which moved the horizontal stabilizer in the tailplane.
So he's doing everything he can.
He moved them in the worst possible direction, nose up. This only added to the already bad response of pulling up in the control column. The extra drag this nose-up attitude created caused the plane to slow down even more, which made it descend even faster.
Pancaked.
At this point, the first officer should have taken over from the captain. He was fully aware that the aircraft was in a stall, and he knew that the nose needed to be pushed down. But at just 21 years old to the captain's 40, he was reluctant to take over. As the plane fell, the captain was focused on the engine instruments. The thrust output was fluctuating, and at times reached very low values. At one point, he even believed that the two engines had flamed out. As it happened, they hadn't, but in any case, issues with the engines were entirely secondary, given that the plane itself was now in a fully developed stall. The passengers were terrified. There was a tremendous noise generated by the air hitting the wings from below, and they could hear the engines behaving erratically. The whole aircraft shook as it careened down through the sky with nothing to see out the windows.
Goodness.
The controller watching the aircraft could see that it was descending rapidly. He asked the pilots if there was any problem on board, and the captain told the first officer to tell him that the engines had flamed out. The real reason for the reduction in engine power was that the air was now entering the engines from almost below. They simply weren't built to take in air from this angle. Aware that they were now getting perilously close to the ground, the first officer asked the controller what the minimum en route altitude was, which would guarantee that they wouldn't crash into any mountains. The plane was now falling at over 12,000 feet per minute.
Jeez.
The stick shaker was rattling, the stall warning was blaring, and the altitude alert tone was sounding. At this point, even if they push the nose fully forwards, the pilots wouldn't be able to salvage the situation.
Yeah, they're fully stalled, deep stall, falling leaf stall. I mean, it's the only way that you would even think about recovering here is you got to trim that elevator out of the got to reduce the drag, get that trim out, and roll it over, and see if you can't get some lift that way. But at this point, panic is setting in, middle of the night. It's unfortunate, man. This is really, really unfortunate because if you haven't been in a situation like this, you don't know how you're going to react. And once you do react, remember I talked about it, my tunnel vision when I had my emergency wasn't even remotely as dangerous as this. And it's like, it's a real thing. So now he's fixated on their stalling. The first officer's fixated on what's our altitude. But no one is taking the steps, nor have they been trained to take the steps to recover from this at high altitude. You know, effectively, you know, coming through 18,000 feet, I don't even know if it would be recoverable, even if you did roll over it. It's so deep stalled. That's just not a good situation. That had to be an absolute horrific experience, because you bet every person on board this airplane knew it was happening. How to make a worse simulation worser, a step-by-step guide. Migs, thanks for the 5 Canadian, man. That's exactly what's happening here. It literally one thing after another. And if you guys remember, when was the Colgan air crash? So let's see, Colgan in Buffalo was 2013. So was it 2013? No, 2009. That sounds more like it. 2009. So Colgan, just a few years later, when that airplane stalled, Captain did the same thing. Pulled full aft. First officer retracted the flaps. 2 of the worst things you could do. And remember, that was before the training was changed. A lot to be said about the fatigue and the mental state of both those pilots as well. And it's easy to sit here Monday morning quarterback these guys, be like, look what you're doing. But it's a sad situation, really. I mean, because they were fully aware of what they had to do to stay flying, toggling the anti-ice, but then it just got to be too much, and they didn't have the training to fall back on, right? You fall to the lowest level of training that you had.
Flight 708 fell through 10,000 feet, then 9,000, then 8,000 in mere seconds.
At 8,000 feet, you're doing 12,000 feet a minute. That's less than 60 seconds to live. These guys are done. I mean, even if they started the recovery at 12,000, it wasn't going to be enough. Plus, who knows what the terrain is like. Maybe the terrain's not even sea level that they're over. So, it's sad. It's very sad. Roy, thank you so much, man, for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate you, dude. Very kind. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. You pick one up from Roy. Make sure you shout him out and say thank you, man. Appreciate you, Roy. Very, very kind, man. Glad to have you here. Greetings from Australia, mate.
Before long, the ground proximity warning system, with its sensors on the underside of the aircraft, picked up reflections from the ground, now just 2,500 feet below them. It could tell that the plane was closing in on the ground at an enormous rate, and it sent an urgent warning to the pilots. The ground proximity warning system isn't smart enough to know that pulling up is exactly what got the pilots into this situation in the first place. But at this point, it didn't make any difference. No matter what the crew did, their aircraft was doomed. Mere seconds after the GPWS first sounded, Flight 708 ploughed into the ground. There were no survivors. To prevent an accident like this ever happening again, the final report made a number of recommendations aimed at both national authorities and Boeing. It recommended that pilots receive effective training on the use of performance tables so that they don't end up flying beyond the capabilities of their aircraft. If the pilots of Flight 708 had used their performance tables properly, they would never have climbed to 33,000 feet in the first place. The report also advised airlines to train their pilots on how to recover from high-altitude stalls, rather than just low-altitude stalls, as aircraft behave quite differently at high altitudes.
Absolutely.
Finally, investigators recommended that the financial state of airlines be monitored not just when they first receive their license to operate, but on a continuous basis, to ensure that poor finances don't jeopardize the safety of passengers and crew. West Caribbean Airways went out of business just a month after the accident.
Jeez. All right. We're getting in here pretty close. Let me zoom this in. I'm gonna take a lab break and then we will debrief. Take a quick lab break. We'll debrief that here in a second. Yeah. That one hurts. Especially here, man. I hope I'd never have to hear that chip whiz. My dad lives in Clarence where Colgan crashed, came down one street over from his house and woke him up, thought it was a bomb went off. Oh, yeah. Yep. That one was nasty, man. Colgan, I'm surprised Green Dot hasn't done a Colgan video. That one would be one that we would really need to watch. Maybe because we don't have a proper Q400. Q400's a T-tail, isn't it? Q400 T-tail too? Yeah, it is. Yeah, another T-tail. Gross. Scare the hell out of me, man. All right, let me hit the lav real quick, and I will be right back. And we will continue on here. Let's get some more uplifting music. Let's get some uplifting music here. I'll be right back. Quick lab break. We're about ready to start down. It's about to get exciting in our PC12. All right, we back. Look at this thing of beauty out here. All right, let's go ahead and get our, where's this? Let's put the Blackbird controls link. Blackbird control 777 throttles. Going down to 10K? Why? Brian, yes, I did. Can't wait for it, man. I might have to try it out here pretty soon. Bring up our cam. Remember, y'all, if you want to treat yourself to 777 throttle set, they are available now. Courtesy of Blackbird. This is one long trip. Johan, it's not that long, man. It's only like an hour 45. 2 hours, maybe? 2 hours? We're getting close. Well, speaking of, let's go direct to give ourselves a better idea. We got a little radar out there. Yeah, we do. We got a little something brewing up to the north. We are 50 miles out. We'll go ahead and start down at about 30,000. Well, actually, for juice purposes, I guess we can descend a little bit. Let's take it down to 11.5. I don't want to get in those clouds, though. Let's see if we can't do a little cloud surfing. We'll go vertical speed. Whoa. All right, down we go. Look at all the bugs on our windscreen already. I like the dynamic bugs. This thing was clean. We're already dirty. Let's do a Magic Barrel ref update while we're at it. We are 2982 set right now, 45 miles out, approximately 10 minutes from landing. Dropping on down. Migs, this is a medium cargo. Medium cargo. Always a great learning experience during your strings, especially when my brain is a sponge and loves to learn new things. Josh, well, excellent, man. Glad you enjoy it, dude. Glad you enjoy it. Andy B says it can get dirtier. I can't wait. There's no bugs at 17.5? Yeah, there is, dude. Because think about it, when you're going over to like the mountains of Colombia, dude, those things come up, or like, yeah, that mountains we crossed, they were up there like 12,000 feet, so we're only 6,000 feet above the ground. Our windshield has gotten dirty. Bugs are better than flying an MD, I know it, man. Well, speaking of T-tails, guess what we have here? And that's a T-tail, my friends. So we got to be careful. Look at this. Look at all this dirt. I wonder if that was from Takeoff. You can tell we've already had it off-roading a little bit. All right, where we're going, it's also going to be a dirt strip. It's going to be a dirt strip, I believe. Weather, no info, no wind. They have runway elevation at 51 feet. We're looking at 21 and 03. We're going to land similarly how we landed with the Beach 18. We got to land over the water into the trees. Got to be committed. Got to be committed. What makes stall recovery so hard in T-tail? Ben, it's because the elevator is what's going to help you reduce that angle of attack. But if the elevator is completely stalled, then the elevator's not going to help you. And you can blank out this elevator because the wind will be getting deflected from the wings and not getting clean airflow up over the elevator surface. Makes it almost unrecoverable. Look at the thickness of the prop here. That's like full CFD propeller modeling. That's pretty cool. It's not just a flat disc. Pretty neat. I like that propeller model. Looks good. Mr. Saturday dropping the 10 gifted memberships. Merry Christmas, V1 Nation. Hey, Mr. Saturday, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us and being here. Appreciate all the support. If you pick up a membership from Mr. Saturday, make sure you say thank you and go check out his channel. Dude's got some seriously cool cinematic videos. His iFly 737 MAX trailer is the juice. Probably one of the best trailers I've seen on Flight Sim. Absolute juice, my man. Barry Seal's fleet maintenance breakdown. 1% mechanics and engineers are 99% janitors with mops. We don't have $1 million hole on this airplane, do we? I'm going to roll in about 1,000 foot per minute here. Let's roll it down about 1,000 foot per minute. Do we have $1 million hole in here? Can't see it if we do. It's classified. Hit the overlay button on PFD to get ground vision. You mean synthetic? Yeah, we don't need it though. I don't like flying with it on. You got all your overlays over here. Synthetic vision, but I don't like flying with synthetic vision on. This looks more normal to me. We'll put our weather, TAWS. We'll do, you can do weather, TAWS. I'm going to keep that off. I like my PFD to be clean. Matter of fact, I'm even going to go HSI mode here in a second. Help keep myself oriented. We'll sync our heading bug up there. We are looking good. Matter of fact, let's we're 28 miles. Let's keep it going. Let's scroll in. Let's scroll in 1,000 feet, 1,500 to be 1,500 feet for a flyover. See if we can spot a windsock down there. Sounds are coming up a little bit. Radio check. I love how this yoke is vibrating. Absolutely love it. PC12 with the Brunner is so much fun, man. All right, so we're going to have options after this chat. I think we might have... Do we buy a King Air C90 or do we buy a medium jet for cargo? We could buy something for cargo. We can buy another cargo plane. Or we can buy a C90. But unfortunately, the C90 is only in VIP service. We'll have to make some decisions after this flight. Oh my gosh. I hope we get close to 1 million on this one. Community poll. I'll make the poll here once we have our options in place. What time is it? 3:24. What time did we start? So we've been airborne, what, an hour? This actually hasn't been that long of a flight, to be honest with you. We crushed a green dot. It took an hour. About what, almost 2-hour flight? See, if we could go up to 29, 30,000 plus, you could knock these out an hour and a half. I'm flying from Dallas to Amarillo in the PMDG 736. Nice, dude. Short flight. I've done that on Southwest. Windsock is stuck in the cloud. No. Check comms. Can I get a mic check on 22.8?
All right, now you're good.
All right. What's the name of this airport? Mena? That's what we should do. We should get a King Air and deliver it to Mena, Arkansas. Serena Station. Wait till you guys see this airport. I've never landed there. I loaded in, though, in free flight to see what it looked like. This way I get the thumbnail for the countdown. This is going to be epic. I hope we can stop. I think we can stop. PC12 stops pretty quick. As long as you're on speed. But it is going to be one of those airports that... This is why I love career mode. For this mission right here. This is why we ground out the 172. This is why we ground out that Caravan flight. This is why we fly the Vision jet. We launder it. We launder the cashola from our Vision jet to provide for our logistics company here. All right, we also have to play the radio game here. I'm going to be off. I'm going to be on 22.9. We're going to select a runway for landing. I believe it's going to be 21. No, it's going to be runway 3. I'm going to be switching over to 22.9 for Unicom.
Romeo Sierra November traffic Gringo Bravo. Sierra Lima 5. 21114 miles east 12400. Ford inbound to land runway tree.
All right, let's do another Magic Bear ref update 29084. That looks good. Thanks, Biggs, for 2 Canadian Barry Seal goes where it's all oh no's. That's the fun part, man. That is the fun part. Thank you, Mix. Oh no's. Yeah, we've had some oh no's for sure. All right, I'm going to bring manual speed back. Zoom my range in. We're getting close. Let's bring the speed back to gear speed-ish. Matter of fact, I might just take control of the auto throttle. I'm going to bring power to idle. I'm going to bring the sounds up. You see what I mean, though? It's a little tinny right here in that cruise power. It'll get better, though. As we get ready to go through 10,000 feet, we'll get our lights on. We'll get pulse. We're going to put it into pulse mode. Keep the birds away. We got pulse mode on our landing lights. Have you ever stalled or crashed in the sim on a serious flight? No, not on a serious flight. Have we? 727, but we were willfully like 10,000 pounds overweight. But like when I'm really trying really hard not to crash, no, the closest I ever came was the Beach 18 stream about a month ago. We almost crashed multiple times. I found your channel when you're flying the 7.2 in a short runway in South America. That sounds like my channel. All right, I'm going to break off here about 240 on the heading. Let's select heading mode.
10,000 feet.
10,000 feet. I'm going to break off. We're going to start looking VFR now visually for a cutout down here in the trees. It should be along. That might be it. Is that it? Goodness, it looks even smaller from up here. I think that's it, chat. Oh no, maybe right here. I think it might be right there. We're gonna drop down to the. Let's roll in this more vertical speed here. Try to get about 3,000 feet a minute. Yeah, TBM, you up on 22.9?
Hey, friend, we're here.
Roger. John Seifert.
I'm going to come into it, runway 030. I'm going to come in off the coast to that vessel foot left pattern.
Sounds good. We'll follow him behind you. All right, so he's going to make a left traffic, come in off the coast. I'm going to basically overfly. We're going to do a practice approach just like we did with the Beech 18. We want to figure out what altitude we're going to commit. Yeah, that's it right there. It's got to be that cutout in the trees. Oh my. But John, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, my man. Appreciate you, dude. Very, very kind. Thank you for the support, man. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas right back at you, John. Thanks for all the support. Here's to 2025, my friend. Here's to 2025. Whoa there. Marcel, thank you so much, man. Hope you get some well-earned rest during the holidays. You too, my friend. Thank you so much for joining in, being with us. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, right back at you, Marcel. Now, the one thing I have not been able to figure out is I don't know if you can put this avionics in that OBS mode like we can with the G3000. So I'm going to switch my indicator over to like a VOR so I can get a runway alignment. You can see right now we've got our TCAS. We can see our traffic in there. We're going to follow him in. Let's do a Magic Barrel ref update here. What we should do, Migs, is not shut down and see if we can walk around. The problem is in career mode, I think they will, it'll end your mission preemptively if you walk too far from the airplane. That's what I've been told. Outside air temp, we're looking good. All right, where's that runway? We're gonna be looking for that cutout in the trees. Let's redirect us to 2-1, direct to, activate. Oh yeah, we're turning towards the right.
All right, I got it. I'm on top of it.
Roger that. Oh, I see the traffic in front of us there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and before I turn off the autopilot, let's go ahead and select heading mode. Let's select nav source and select course to runway 3. Oh boy, oh boy. See that? The trim. See the trim running? Don't like that. You gotta be careful of that. I should have disconnected earlier. I'm doing too many things at once here. Runway 03. Let's go ahead and turn off the flight directors. We gotta find this runway. I think that's it. Right there. Look at that. Is that it right there? It's either that one or that one. I think it's this one. Oh yeah. It's that one right there. Yeah, Serena traffic, Pilatus 357 Bravo Sierra over the top runway 3, making up left traffic for runway 3. There she is, chat. There she is. Looks like a little encampment down there. Oh boy.
Romeo Sierra November traffic Ringo Bravo. Sierra Lima 5, 2111 miles, southwest 900 feet inbound to land runway 21.
Nope, we're going to land runway 3.
Mike Romeo Sierra November traffic Ringo Bravo. Sierra Lima 5, 2111 miles northeast, 900 feet inbound to land runway tree.
All right, there's the traffic. We're sequencing in behind him. Let's go ahead and get flaps 15. Let's get our inert SEP on. Flaps 15, inert SEP is coming out. Let's run our before landing checklist. Inert SEP is on, standing by on the gear, taxi lights, and all that juice. Yaw damp is off. Yaw damper, you want to make sure you keep that off in this airplane when you land. Gonna land runway tree, all right. Oh boy. All right, we'll set ourselves up for download. This is so cool, seeing the traffic like this. Such good situational awareness. See, he's doing the same thing, making a left pattern. He's basically turning base to final now. I don't want to get too fast here. There's the traffic. As soon as he goes off our wingtip, we'll pretty much start our turn to base. Missionary bush pilot ain't got nothing on this. Oh man. Alright, gear's coming down.
Yeah, I lost it.
Are you breaking off?
Yeah, I missed it. I'm gonna go in there or go around again.
Roger that, we're on base now for 03. So it's this little cliff, I think. That's the cliff entry, because that's what we thought, but it's actually kind of on that cliff. Let's go flaps 30 here. Good thing there's no wind right now. Oh, see that little balloon there? See, I like this flight model, man. It's pretty good. I'm going to bring the power back. We're going to go full. Flaps full right now. We need to... Where's she at? It's right there. We got to square it out. I think we got to square this off. Yeah, we're kind of on a dog leg to final right now. Yeah, I see it. It's this cliff right here. We're on a dog leg here. We may have to readjust. We'll see. We go over that threshold, we got to commit. I forgot to announce on final.
Mike Romeo Sierra November traffic Ringo Bravo. Sierra Lima
is.
5, 211
We got
is on
this.
final runway tree to land.
Once we dip below 300, we're committed. Yeah, we're committed now. All right, this is on us. Let's get her down and stopped. Get her down and stopped. Power's coming out. Fly it down. Brace that descent rate. Nice. Full reverse. Brakes. Brakes. More brakes, please. More brakes, please. More brakes, more brakes, more brakes, more brakes. Yeah. Woo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Serena Station. Smash the like button for that. Let's be careful we don't ding a prop here.
Alright, hold on to your hands.
All right, we are clear at the end, pretty much. Runway's yours. We got to stop here. Let's clean it up. Announce taxi to parking. We'll go ahead and turn that off. We'll turn those off. Taxi lights, strobe, wings can come off. I forgot ignition and fuel pumps. I kind of want to see this guy land. Remember, he's on a TBM. I feel like we should move. As long as he doesn't float, he should be okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot to record that. I guess he can't record in career mode. He looks awfully low. Is he going to hit a tree? Oh boy. Popped up. Oh my gosh. He's down. Oh man. It's so funny seeing a 190. Oh, he's got it. He's got it. Nice. Like a glove. All right, we got to taxi to parking. I got to see where they want us to shut down.
Romeo Sierra November traffic Ringo Bravo. Sierra Lima 5 211 is taxiing to parking. Mike Romeo Sierra November traffic Ringo Bravo. Sierra Lima 5 211 is taxiing to parking.
He went right. Look at this little compound. Where are we? Where are we? He went straight into the compound building. Look at this. This is great. This is great. All right, we got to see if we can turn here without hitting a prop. Easy.
Hey dude, there's a picnic table with an umbrella out here in a bar.
I told you you'd like this airport. There we go, nice and easy. Don't hit the prop. Yeah.
Awesome flight, Captain.
Thank you.
Thanks for getting us here safe.
You're absolutely welcome. Brakes are set. Let's go ahead and go. Taxi lights coming off. Let's get avionics 1, avionics 2. Standby can stay on. Generator 2 is off and shut down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Serena Station. This is the Hilton Escobar. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Mission success. Man, I should have recorded that. Man. Look at it. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Respect the condition of the aircraft. All right. Ensure cargo integrity, 93%. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hilton de Escobar, as Mig says. All right. I'll take an Escort. We are professionals. That was fun, man. That was so much fun. Let's see how much we get paid. Oh, yeah. Man, I was hoping to get at least 800 thou. All right, 787 thou. Not bad. Not bad. I really wish I recorded that landing. Dang, we're going to have to come back there in the Beech 18. That airport, it was epic. All right. Now we have decisions to make. We have decisions to make, chat. We have decisions. Decisions. Okay, we got 6.7 mil in the bank. Book it. Boom. All right. So, thank you, Mix. Ooh, we opened up some missions here. Is there another mission out? Oh, it's from somewhere just down the way. Ooh. Oh, that's paved. Karate. Karate Airport. 5 hours and 30 minutes. Good night. Where's that going? What? San Pedro Sula? What? These are crazy missions. Okay. All right, so here's our options, y'all. From here, you can see I've kind of done some flying. This is all heavy, medium cargo flying down here in South America. Up here in VIP land, I've opened up a couple new areas. Man, I flew and look at this one out of Kika. There's a mission out of Kika to Arnold. That is so cool. Now, but here's what we have to decide. I'm going to put a poll in chat. Because we can either buy a medium heavy cargo jet, the PC12, or we can buy something for our charter company. Let me show you. Let me show you our options. So if we go to logistic, this is our cargo operator. We could pick up the CJ4. The problem is the missions I've heard college use are not that great, but I'm willing to wait. So we could get ourselves a PC24 to do medium cargo as well. I don't really want to get the Sky Courier anymore. I think the Sky Courier being so slow and the missions being so long, until you can fly, you should be able to fly light cargo with a medium cargo aircraft. That's how it should be. Until they implement that, there's really no point in doing Sky Courier, in my opinion. So, this is what I would do. We could either do PC24 in cargo mode, okay, or Or Saab is a long way out. The PC12 does not work so well for a lot of small airports. Well, that's exactly what I'm looking for, Racer. That's the thing. I make it work. Or we go Barry Seal Charter. We buy a new aircraft. And we can get ourselves either... I don't really want the 350i because it's a G1000, to my knowledge. The C90 is that we've flown it on stream. Proline 21. Pretty cool. Okay. So we could either do C90 for the charter op or PC24 for additional cargo. Those are our options. Let me put a poll in chat. And then I'm going to load into one in free flight just to see. C90, because I'm pretty sure the C90, I haven't really seen any much of it online. The C90 passenger ops would be kind of fun to do like we do in the Vision Jet, but with the C90.
Bank angle.
Didn't want to interrupt Green Dot earlier, but Merry Christmas to the V1 family.
Mike P, my man, thank you so much for a $50 bank angle check. Dude, Merry Christmas right back at you, dude. Thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate the $50 bank angle check, man. Absolutely love it. Thank you for all the support. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Happy New Year as well, Mike P. I know you've been around the channel a long time as well. And I know you've been here despite me ignoring your muted your muted donos, man. I'm so sorry about that. But this one wasn't muted, so pat on the back for myself, right? Thanks again, Mike P. I appreciate you, dude. Merry Christmas right back at you. All right, I'm making a poll. C90 for Escobar charter or PC24 for freight or wait and grind for CJ4. That's our options. Does Barry Seal have alert? Yeah, I got my alerts on, man. I got them on. So let's go take a look really quick at the changes in the PC24. Or actually, let's see the CJ4. I want to see the CJ4. The problem that I've heard with the CJ4 is there's not a lot of missions for it. The thing with the King Air, with the C90, we could either deliver it here. I loaded into Mena, Arkansas, just out of coincidence, just to see if there'd be any missions here. But you know, we could also put that King Air, like we could base it in like Cancun, maybe, or maybe New Orleans. You know, or we could bring the King Air up to the Pacific, the West Coast too. I mean, the West Coast has got some hops. You know, there's really no, it doesn't look like there's any VIP ops in Mexico. Bolivia. Pacific Northwest. Ooh. We could run that King Air all the way up here. Run the King Air ops out of like the Pacific Northwest and see if we can unlock more stuff up here into Canada. Blackbird. I meant to hit C90 for Pablo. Let me go back. Let me go free flight real quick. Let's load into the C90 real quick. Because we don't have enough time for another flight today, but I'm going to do some more flying at home. Let's go back to... I don't know where. Let's just go in here. That's where we were. Where did they want us? There was a mission out of this airport. I'm curious. Let's go here real quick. I think these are like control levers this way.
Mike Romeo Charlie Echo traffic Gringo Bravo Sierra Lima 5211 taking off runway 11 departing straight out.
Go up to my neck of the woods, King Air, up in the Pacific Northwest. That could be kind of fun. The sounds aren't the best. Oh, jeez, I had these both in cutoff. Son of a gun. I know the engine start sounds are not good. Raven, yeah, but there's no fun in that, man. You guys are looking at it the wrong way. Well, I am relieved to say that you guys didn't vote for the PC12 for freight ops. I think C90 Vision Jet style missions would be kind of fun. Should have hot started that. I mean, because this is Proline 21, which would be kind of fun. I wonder how well modeled the Proline 21 is here. It's pretty good in the CJ4. It's pretty good in the CJ4. Oh, looks like there's a view bug still. Nah, C90, this is a PT6 turboprop. Fancy King Air, man. GTX. Johan, I know I would love to have the Dukes. Oh, wow, this is kind of a tight departure here. Oh, shit. Oh, jeez. Hang on. Hang on. Wow, look at the...
100. 100.
Well, we might actually have to do that mission. That's pretty epic. That's pretty cool.
Don't sink.
Yeah, I know.
Don't sink.
Yeah, I'm not sinking, brother. You're fine. Sounds aren't terrible as well. I could get behind this. You know what? So I think what we'd have to do, we'll have to do a delivery up into maybe Seattle or something. Alright, so we're buying the King Air. I like it. Just trying to see if I can find that airport we just landed at. Just make short approach. Puget Sound? That would be good. This could be kind of tight. See, it doesn't sound terrible when you're flying it. I don't know if I have reverse bound. High idle for this. Probably should be low idle.
500. 400. 300.
Oh my gosh.
200.
Oh, no way. No way.
100.
No way. Come on. Come on, now set her down. Whoo! That was fun. Okay. I could get behind that. I think we'll buy the King Air. I think we're buying ourselves a C90. Mr. said it is sold. Time for new brakes. Well, that wasn't ours. You know, that's what's good. See, it's stress free. It's stress free that when you're in free flight mode. don't know why that one's still spinning. Did we not feather it? Oh, because the freaking starter's still on. Toasted that starter. Alright. Whew. Let's buy it. Test flight completed. Alright. Let's buy ourselves a King Air. I have a question about the Airbus. My nose seems to try and pitch down violently when I attempt to flare and cut thrust to idle. Am I doing something wrong? Darian, I would say you're doing something wrong. I've been flying the Airbus a lot in the sim. I've never had that issue. It could also be a binding issue, Darian. Never rule that out. It could be a binding. You could have a conflicting binding somewhere. I would start there. Make sure you have proper bindings. But if you're getting a violent nose down, that sounds like a binding or some type of bug. All right. We're buying it. Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to buy that for Escobar Charter. So we'll manage that. Buy aircraft. We're at 6.7 mil. Alright. Juice. Let's buy it. I don't want to buy anything else, right? We don't want a Baron. I would buy a Duke if we could. Don't want a G1000 350. I really would like the CJ4. I love it. But the only thing I've heard is the missions are far and few between, and they're also like 1,000 miles. So, and we already have the PC12, so let's buy this puppy right here. Oh, I wish I could pick a livery though. There's no way to choose a livery. This might actually be faster than the Vision Jet. Racer, why is it unusable for you, man? Ooh, man, look at the insurance on this puppy. 3,500 a flight hour? Yee. All right, we're going to deliver. We get a free delivery. Wait, should we deliver it at Revelstoke? I think we should. Should we deliver it at Revelstoke? Or we could just deliver it right at Eureka. Let's deliver it at Revelstoke. The Revelstoke delivery. Let's. we may not have any missions in here right now, but I'll have to fly around and see if I can find some. Let's deliver here. We get a free delivery. We're gonna put it up here in the north. All right, delivery up at Revelstoke. That looks good. There's our summary. 5.1 mil. Man, I wish I could spend money like that. Boom. Basic insurance with wheels and a private charter. Absolutely wonderful. All right. Let's go back and back. There's one aircraft. Here's where we left off. No, there wasn't a cargo version, Team Vodka. I would have bought one for cargo if there was. All right. Now, it looks like there's not a mission at a Revelstoke, unfortunately. It'd be cool if you could use it for both. I just want to make sure... Oh, I'm not going to do this mission. I'm just going to see if I can accept it with the King Air. What? I can't select another airplane? So you can't use it? Are you kidding me? That's what you're saying, Racer, is that you can't use it for missions. Well, great. Now I gotta grind another 6 million my life back. Everything's cargo. Should have bought the PC12. You guys are terrible. Only some VIP can use the C90? Really? Like what VIP? It probably has to be like a longer one. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Oh, I guess that tells you what you can buy. Look. It doesn't have it. That'd be King Air, probably. Let me see. See all. Yeah, look. This is all you could buy. What a farce. How much would it sell for? It tells you the type of mission. Well, I'm just curious. If I go to employee, I wonder what employee missions, if it has... Sometimes the employee missions will show you... glitched it. About tree fitty. I could sell it for 4.1 mil. Oh. I wonder if I should just take a hit, take $1 million hit on it. Medium VIP is only in Europe. How much should we spend on this? 5.7? Yeah, they might fix it later in 2026. Ah! 2 mil. If we sell it for 4.1, we're back to 5.5. How much is the PC-24? It's 5.6. Facebook Marketplace. King Air C90, like new, runs perfect, great for all mission types. Oh my gosh, thanks Canadian, appreciate the $5 super chat, man. Don't sell it. Nah, you can't filter by aircraft. I wish you could. I'm gonna keep it just in case Adobe makes an update, right? Isn't there supposed to be some big update soon? I'm gonna keep it in the bank. I'm gonna turn on crew for everything here. We're going to go back to the charter company. We're going to turn crew on for you. Crew's on. Crew on for everybody. All right. That's it. No, it doesn't have to do with certifications. We've got pretty much everything we need. The only certs we don't have are turboprop ATP. Airliner equipped with turboprop engines. Surely you don't think that's it, right? No, this is for the SOB. You know, it's for the SOB and ES30, whatever the heck that is. So, I don't need to waste any money on anything else. We might have to unlock this side of the aisle here pretty soon. But, all right, well that's a bummer. Man, I'm tempted to sell it and just get the PC-24. I'm going to sell it. Should we sell it, chat? Get the PC-24 for freight? Because we know we can do medium freight in the PC-24. Screw it. Let's sell it. Let's sell the son of a gun. We're selling it. I'm done with you. Oh, no, we're not selling that. We'll have to keep laundering through our Vision Jet. Our poor Vision Jet, man, has been just absolutely ripped. I'm done with you. Ooh, 5.6 mil. We're up to 5.6. We could buy one. All right, but I don't have time. It's 4 o'clock. I need to go. I gotta go. We're gonna get out of here. But we'll be back soon. I'm going to do some flying at home. I'm going to do some PC12 flying at home. And then with the PC24, we'll be able to do these medium missions much faster because we can take the PC24 up. So the PC24 will be our ticket to success, Chad. Where are we going to deliver the PC24? Mexico City? I think we have to connect. We have to connect our operation. We've got South America and the west side of the U.S. I think we need to expand. Look at all this medium cargo expansion for a PC-24. We're going to need a jet, high altitude, high temp, too. Perfect. I like the plan. See? I told you we had a plan. All right. Thank you all for the support. This has been a fun stream. You guys have been absolutely awesome. I hope you all have a wonderful, happy Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year. Migs, thanks for 5 Canadian heli cert so we can land fixed wing strip and come full circle. Alpha Zulu 77. You know it, Migs. You know it, man. Thanks for the 5 Canadian. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for the massive super chats, the bank angle checks, the gifted memberships. I will see you guys after Christmas. Hopefully before the new year, we'll ring in some more Barry Seal logistics. This one's been fun. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. I'm V1. See you.